Hello, hello, welcome. We are here on an exciting day. I'm joined by Carmine of Red Team Review. Carmine, how are you?
Oh, I'm good now that Argentina has lost. Oh man,
I first of all, that was the most
glorious
boring
day.
fucking soccer game you can like up until the last 15 minutes. That was so fucking boring. Um, and no, it felt good because in kind of a justice sense, like it was very clear to everyone and their dog that like the refs and FIFA and everybody were putting their thumbs on the scale because Messi sells products and they wanted to have this whole narrative of like, oh, Messi is golden send off kind of shit. Let's sell some Adidas, whatever. And it's just like game after game, Cabo Verde, Egypt, England, Switzerland. Like it's just like game after game, you're just like, wow, Argentina kind of sucks. And then in this game with Spain, you're just watching it, and the whole game, you're just like, wow, Argentina kind of sucks. like, uh, um, now it's not, Spain just was dominating possession, and then you're just like, oh god, I got nervous. I was like, are they going to do it again? Are they going to do it again? But at some point, you hit the brick wall of like the opposing team is just too fucking good, and Spain won. And
Spain
Spain
is a,
should.
a very well disciplined team. They're also they play very tight, very strict in how they go about it, and it's very boring. It's not like flashy like it is with
Yeah,
France. It's not like unpredictable like it is with
it's
Norway.
it's a it's a
It's
bunch
very
of guys.
boring, but it
It's a
works.
bunch of guys doing one touch passes back and forth to each other, and like for a
That's
long time until they can fucking find an opening to move downfield. And
I
it's
mean,
yeah.
do you remember that scene about soccer from when soccer the World Cup comes to Springfield in
Oh
The
yeah,
Simpsons,
yeah, yeah.
and
It's
like
always I
the
think
commercial
about
makes it
that.
sound amazing, and that's what it was. Honestly, I think the best game of the entire tournament was yesterday. England versus France was
Oh yeah,
amazing. That was intense.
it was absolutely. I mean, I mean, 10 goals, but yeah, you're right. I was watching it with my wife and my son, and she was amazed at how often uh, Spain kicked it back to their goalie and passed to their goalie, not slowly either. Like sometimes it's just like some people are running it up and it's like they'll head it more slowly towards their goalie as a pass. You're like, oh Jesus, but other teams don't do that. Other teams don't like back pass to their goalie in such precarious positions, but they're such a pass oriented team. It was impressive, but boring, but
I always have
fucking
I always have to explain to like people who don't normally watch the game. South American teams are usually very physical, with the exception of Brazil. The Brazil national team doesn't really do that. But you saw that with Paraguay, you saw that with Colombia,
yeah,
you
yeah,
saw
yeah.
that with Argentina. They do a very physical type of game. So
I mean, this is why they say like it's strange because the announcer was like, well, diving and theatrics, that's part of the game. And you're like, well, it wasn't always part of
no,
the
it's not.
game. It wasn't always
No,
part of it. But it's a very
people
Latin
start
American,
getting
it's a very Latin American part of the game, you know.
people start getting yellow cards. They're starting to give out yellow cards for
I
diving now,
saw.
which
I mean, the guy got redded for because of it because the first was a
fuck
yellow for
Fuck
diving. Yeah,
Enzo. Fuck that piece of
yeah.
shit. He's such a piece of shit. Whatever. I'm glad they lie. But before that one kid shows up to get upset that we talk about the World Cup once
I
every four
know, I
years.
know. We're just got. I mean, we give us a little bit. It's not going to happen again for another 4 years, so we'll be okay. We'll be okay.
Oh, it already happened. Already happened. Angel, fuck off. Fuck off,
We
buddy.
can't talk a little bit of World Cup here. Okay, it was a big deal. Um,
A very big deal. Honestly, it should never be in this country again. I was embarrassed that we had Justin Bieber and fucking on there. What the
yeah,
hell is that? That does
yeah.
not happen. That is weird.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, everything about it. I mean, the Americanization of it, the hydration breaks, the halftime show, all of it. It was
Your
just
president standing on there with the champions for
oh my
some
god. And then
reason.
like I noticed that they had to start cutting him from all the pictures cuz he's just like in there trying to be in there. It's like, dude, fuck off. Fuck off. It's like imagine if you like show up to some wedding and they're doing pictures with the bride and groom and you're just like hanging out like next to a fucking tree. Like who fucking wants you there? What is fucking wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Why are you inserting yourself into a couple's wedding photo? It's the same fucking thing with like their celebration. Get out of the fucking photo. It's for the team. Let the fucking team be celebrating, you piece of shit. Oh my god, what human being would do that? Oh god. Have you seen the scene from the new Larry David show? You know what I'm
There's
talking
a new
about,
Larry
Carmine?
David show. No.
There's a new Larry David show, called Life, Liberty, and the Pursuit of Life, Larry, and the Pursuit of Unhappiness, and it's like takes place during like
Oh,
revolutionary times, and like they're like doing the constitutional, you know, they're talking about designing the country, and he's like, what if we get some maniac, and everybody's like, well, the public would vote out the maniac. But what if they don't? What if they just fucking keep electing this maniac for no reason? And they're like, why would anyone do that? You know? And what if the maniac just fucking cheats at golf? What's golf? It's a really fun sport from Scotland. But what if, like, what kind of person? And they're all sitting around being like, what person would cheat at golf? Like, you know, like, it's hilarious, but it's like, this is what I'm like, it's an entire scene that goes on for like 10 minutes. It's Rob Reiner's last thing that he ever acted in before he got murdered. Yeah, but it's pretty great. But the anyway, last thoughts on the World Cup. You're happy that Spain has won. They were the better team by far. By far, I'm surprised they didn't win 5-0. They were just a better team, and but now, you want to talk about House of the Dragon?
go for it.
You're like, sure, second fiddle. Second fiddle. The so Carmine had watched the episode early. I did not. And the thing about the episode, and I didn't really understand when he told me this, but it makes sense now, of course. But he's like, episode 5 is like, it's like they redid episode 4, but better. You know? And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, it kind of makes episode, like they didn't really need episode 4. They could have gone straight to episode 5 and it would have just been a better episode. And so I like watched the episode. I was like, yeah, that's kind of it, right? They just kind of redid episode 4. They didn't really need episode 4 and they just redid it as a better version of episode 4. I guess that really makes
My
sense.
problem with episode 5 is the fact that I love Cole doing his guerrilla warfare on the Riverman forces. That is great, but we only got one episode of it before he decides to do a suicidal charge. Apparently, they've been like doing this guerrilla warfare thing for quite some time, and we only got it this one episode before he does a suicidal Butcher's Bowl thing next episode. I think next episode is Butcher's Bowl. I think. I don't know.
You're right. They should have, because it like the point in which like, because we're living through Gawain. Like Gawain is the audience stand-in. Okay, he is. Fuck, is he the only goddamn normal person in the whole universe? Like is Gawain the only like regular guy who is in the whole show? But like Gawain is us, right? We're all fucking Gawain. And
please tell me you know about like the meme, the anime meme where the guy puts the hand on the other guy's shoulder and it's like, buddy. They did the meme where Gawain's like, we're not marching to our deaths, are we? Buddy. He puts his hand on his shoulder, buddy. We were always marching to our deaths. Come on, buddy.
Yes.
Come on. I love it.
But Carmine, your point is totally correct in that their antics should have been a three episode arc. They should have had 3 episodes of this shit. Of them like going through this until you finally get like Gawain breaking down and being like, what the fuck are we doing? And then Cole can have his speech. You're right that we needed more time in that. Because it's good stuff. It was good stuff. It was really interesting. I don't know why.
Great this episode.
I don't know why the Riverman forces are going. We're going that direction past Stony Sept. Like, why are they going to the west? Like, why wouldn't you go past Harrenhal and then go east? Because they were supposed to go down to King's Landing and then go further to Tumbleton. But they're going to the west.
Why wouldn't they go past Harrenhal? I don't think they want to go anywhere near Harrenhal, considering they probably got word that the detachment sent to Harrenhal has been burned by Vhagar. So they probably want to steer clear of Harrenhal. The
problem is the timing. Is that like, you know that like, they marched up to the Red Fork and back in like a day and a day. Like, their distance to Harrenhal should be nothing. They should have gotten there quickly and gone right past. And then Vhagar may have, you're right that Vhagar would have seen them from the sky, but they should have mentioned something like, oh, we're going to go this way because Vhagar is to the east or something. They should have had something like that. If you're, because in the last episode, like, they specifically said that they were on their way to King's Landing and they just have to go a little bit further to Tumbleton. But now we find out that they're going another direction over many rivers. It's a really out of the way to go if you look at it. Here, I'll pull up map of the South, Ice and Fire. Okay, here we go.
Oh no, what have I done? Oh no. Oh no!
You want me to pull the Dance of the Dragons one so it's a little more detailed?
No, God, that's worse.
What? Fine, I'll. No. Okay. No, because I think they mentioned. I want to make sure that all the towns are on there. By the way, okay. So. They're at the Lakeshore. They were at Battle of Lakeshore, which is like a little bit to the west of Harrenhal. The idea being, they're just a tad west of the Harrenhal, right? Rather than going clockwise past Harrenhal down the King's Road to King's Landing, they have decided to go west because they talk about going to Stony Sept. So they're going and they're fording these rivers. And it's like, you could have hugged the lake and gone straight down to the Gold Road. But instead they're like fording a bunch of fucking rivers, passing Stony Sept. Like, it doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm talking about. Carmine. Right. Yeah.
I see her.
Yeah. Why would they be going all the way out of the way to Stony Sept? Conceivably, what you're saying, like, if they want to avoid Vhagar, they would hug the lake and then follow the rivers to the Gold Road and then head east to King's Landing. If they wanted to do what you were talking about, trying to avoid Harrenhal and Vhagar. But instead, they're like fording rivers and being near Stony Sept and shit. It makes no sense. Makes no sense, dude. Okay. All right. Did you note how many book references do they have in here with regards to book plots? I wanted to talk about that too. They brought up Wendish Town, another call out to Eddard 11. Because Eddard 11
stuff as well.
What's that? Oh yeah, the Sivas stuff.
Sivas.
I mean, Sons of the Sons of the Harpy plot.
Right.
All that's in there.
They even stole the plot line from your fanfic, where Cersei and goes in the
tries to escape. And then the light is out. I was screaming. So I was on with Carmine watching the end of the episode, and I was screaming because I'm like, Rhaenyra would not be so dumb as to put him in a room with a secret passage. She knows about the fucking secret passages. And so at least they ran into a wall or something. I hope they're not able to get out through a secret passage, because that would be really fucking dumb if Rhaenyra put him in a room with a secret passage when she herself knows about the fucking secret passages. I mean, she's used them. Did she use them more than once? Didn't she once eavesdrop on Lionel Strong too? I have to go back. I forgot who was eavesdropping on Lionel Strong. I don't want it in a fake accent. What was I remember her saying that kind of weird, but I didn't know what that was. I don't want it. Like why she said it so weird. But man, there's really good acting in this episode. I like the fact that the Sons of the Harpy, like Ormond is clearly behind Sons of the Harpy. So it's actually making him into a bigger, more clever villain who's caught. Like, rather than it just being a whole bunch of fucking coincidences that bring down Rhaenyra, which is the source material. Ormond Hightower is the one orchestrating everything, you know. That's kind of cool. Though I don't know timeline.
Damon kind of being the voice of reason this episode was unexpected, but I liked it a lot. He's grown from his from the beginning of season 2, where he's a petulant asshole. Now,
I mean, I think somebody once pointed out, like, is like Damon by himself has pretty much won. He won the fucking war. He's doing everything right. Like Damon so far, even though he's like supposedly this loose cannon, he's the one that rallied the fucking Riverman army. He's the one that so he essentially won the war in that sense. Then he got the gold. It's his gold cloaks that won the city for her. And in the end, of course, we're gonna have the God's Eye. So really, like, Damon is doing everything. He's pulling a lot of weight. He's doing a heavy lift, Damon, in winning things for Rhaenyra.
I saw a great meme right now, and I want you to.
Yeah.
Yes, but very true meme, right? Because someone in my Discord server was like, "Man, when are we gonna get more fanfic stuff?" And I told him Preston is busy with his family and his job now that he's back in DC. So someone said this meme right here, and I think it's very very appropriate because it ties into what you're saying about Damon. I sent it to you on Facebook. It ties what you're saying about Damon.
Doop 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 doop.
This is a great one. I love this one.
I'm trying to get it, but for some reason, my Facebook Messenger is not working on my desktop for some reason. Okay.
And to what the person here is saying, are we not getting the Shepherd? I think we are. It's just the Sons of the Harpy-esque faction in King's Landing are probably going to make Rhaenyra more upset.
So his yeah, okay, that's funny. This is
put it up. Put the
I know. Up. I'm just trying to get the.
It's a great meme.
Okay, I'll have to do this because wife and kids, the Winds of Winter fanfic, Damon the hero video. Yeah. Yeah.
We are still going to what this person was saying, we're still going to get the Shepherd. It's just that this episode needed to show Rhaenyra is making some mistakes. She's paranoid. She's focusing on all the wrong things while Damon is focusing on all the right things. So.
Yeah. All right, quick super chat. The Sea People were a big mystery part of your book. Now it's in the Odyssey with Nolan's take that the collapse of Zeus's law, Xenia, led to chaos that ended the Bronze Age, and it's what history calls the Sea People. Thoughts? Oh, that's interesting. I mean, so Xenia is just like guest right? Like guest right in that time. I don't know specifics about it. That's just kind of, I just remember that about it. But I mean, it's funny that it's a little bit of ice and fire in there, that once you break guest right, like the entire all of civilization collapses. I mean, obviously, like, his story is myth, so I'm not looking for truth in there. But obviously, like the Sea Peoples, and the end of the Bronze Age collapse. For those that don't know what we're talking about, of course, you can go through your ages: Stone Age, Bronze Age, Iron Age, right? In the Bronze Age, people made their weapons out of bronze, made their tools out of bronze. We switched mainly to iron in the Iron Age. And the reason that this switch happened is because that bronze is made of tin and copper, and iron is produced usually at that time. You'd make blast furnaces. You needed to separate out metals and add coke and whatever things to make steel and shit like that. Anyway, the specifics aren't that important, but making iron was costly, and bronze was not, but it required both copper and tin. And one of the big things is that there's more copper in the world than tin, because copper is a lighter element, and so you have to expand outward to find more tin. Tin is rarer than copper. And so eventually, like, you have civilization going in the Bronze Age for centuries, and they're running out of tin. So you got to go out further and further for your tin trade. So they're pulling tin from the wilderness in Western Europe. And at some point, that tin trade got disrupted, and the Bronze Age collapses, and iron, not that they didn't have the technology to do iron, but now it's more profitable to do it. So now you can, they start building these blast furnaces and whatever, and make iron. This is the end of the Bronze Age and the rise of the Iron Age and everything that went with it. The fall of the Hittites and the Great Recession of the Egyptian Empire happen in the Bronze Age collapse. And we're not really sure why it happened. At the same time, we know that this group called the Sea Peoples were attacking both the Hittites and the Egyptians. And we're not really sure if they were the cause of the collapse or the result of the collapse, or it all was linked. Maybe they were both, but the Sea Peoples were there, and maybe they're the ones that disrupted the tin trade. So it's hard to say like what exactly happened with the Sea Peoples. There's a lot of theories. Maybe they were pirates. Maybe they were refugees. Maybe they were a coalition of small states in the Mediterranean that just organized. What exactly happened is difficult to say, but we know that the Sea Peoples were heavily linked to the Bronze Age collapse and the fall of the Hittite Empire and the recession of the Egyptian Empire and everything, and the rise of the Iron Age. But how precisely, who it's history, historians will argue. So, but the idea that like somehow this would be, in fact, like because of something social, like Zeus's law or whatever. I mean, that's silly because we know it had to do with bronze.
Do you mind if I explain it to you, like what the
Sure.
person is talking about? Because it happens.
I haven't seen the movie.
So in Christopher, it's. I mean, there's a moment where Matt Damon's Odysseus says, "Our age of bronze is collapsing," which, in my opinion, is a very cringe line. Our age of bronze is collapsing, and maybe he couldn't bear to see the ruins of what he'd done. He feels guilt because throughout the entirety of the movie, he feels guilt because They tricked the Trojan with the Trojan horse thing, which violates Zeus's law, and therefore it's almost as though Matt Damon is trying to imply that our age of bronze is collapsing because the gods are angry that we did this to this people doing it like this, violating this law. That makes sense?
I understand. Yeah. Yeah. Um,
Mm.
okay.
First off, I haven't seen the movie. I've seen bits and pieces here and there, and I got to say, uh, you got to watch it. I feel like you would like it, maybe. I don't know, but
Yeah.
that is a reference in the whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, they do talk about like the Greek, well, it's funny because, I mean, the problem as well is that the Greeks have their golden age after the Bronze Age collapse. So it's not like the height, when we think of the height of Greek society, we tend to think like what, like 5th century BC, and the Bronze Age collapses, around 1000 BC. So like, when was the Greek Dark Age? That's maybe the Greek Dark Age is right after the collapse. So I mean, I guess they're talking about like, you've got the Bronze Age collapse, and yeah, you have the Greek Dark Age, but then the Greeks like rise out and have this like golden age. But I guess it's fun. Why not put it all together? Throw in this.
Did you see Trey's review of the Odyssey?
I didn't watch it yet. I didn't have the time, but yeah.
But you saw Nick Hodges' review of the Odyssey. What did you
I
think?
did see Nick Hodges. His was shorter, and so I did watch and earlier. So I did watch. I mean, I suppose like. By the way, the fall of Troy, happens a good century or so before a century or two before the Bronze Age collapse. But like, from our position, like we're talking about events 3,000 years ago, pushing things a century or two doesn't seem like that big of a deal. considering how we'll push Middle Ages technology all over the place with centuries. Like you'll watch some fantasy show and they're using crossbows from like 1500, with attacking castles from 800, things like that. But so I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting, fun little thing, but obviously like not anywhere close to history. But the whole movie isn't historical, right? But what were you saying about? What were we going to say about Troy's review? I mean, Trey's review and I called Trey Troy. Trey's review and Nick's review. If you were to like compare them,
I think Nick hit it on the head when he said like, and we were talking about it briefly a while back about how they didn't do the gods as much as they should have, because the gods are like peppered throughout the story, but they have magic and monsters.
Nick Hodges, his comment. Nick Hodges, we're talking about what's his channel? History buffs.
History buffs.
His comment was, "There's clearly cyclopses and magic and the underworld, but whoa, I can't put the gods in." like what? Like. That would be too far. But you've literally put in the underworld. Like it's like, imagine like you like have a movie where you go where hell is a real place, but you don't put in the devil. You're like, like you didn't do that. All right, there's demons, but the devil's too far. There's demons and there's the underworld, but the devil's too far. So, but anyway, people say it's a great movie though.
When the Odyssey comes out on DVD or on streaming, did you want to do like a review of it?
Sure. I mean, I'll try to see it as quick as I can, but it's
because I know you're too in theaters. Can I just tell you one thing that happens?
I won't be able to get to a theater, but I won't be able to get to a theater, but I might be able to view a pirated copy or something.
I'll try to find a decent pirated copy, but there's something that happens at the end. You know when Odysseus comes back and he starts killing the suitors.
Okay. Yeah. You told me that about that. Yeah.
I'll tell it to the audience too. There's a moment where because I love the original 1997 Odyssey miniseries. That's great. But in this one, when he comes back, he starts killing the suitors. First off, he shoots an arrow so like limp wristed, it's fucking laughable. Second, they actually finally like I don't know if this is like Nolan fixing this issue, but there's like 30 of the suitors and only one of him fighting them. So the suitors all basically gang up on him and kick the shit out of him. It's unintentionally fucking funny. Like I was laughing throughout just watching the scene.
Yeah, yeah.
It's I don't know. Like maybe I need to watch the whole movie instead of bits and pieces to really appreciate it. Because it sounds great, but man, that scene just
ever since
unintentionally made
ever
me
since
laugh.
who's the guy I'm subscribed to? Ever since I saw this one video with
Neurotic?
no Jose. I saw this video from
Oh,
from
Jose.
Jose, and he brought up this point that like that right wing grifters get so upset when a woman beats a man in a fight. Because they're like, what? How is a woman beating a man? My suspension of disbelief is destroyed. And it's like, yeah, okay. You know, obviously, on average, men are stronger than women. It's obviously like, yes, it's always a stretch when a woman is beating a man in a fight. Sure. Um, However, like he's like, one person beating two people in a fight is also ridiculous. Okay. That would never fucking happen. Like two people would beat one person in a fight like 99 out of 100 times, if not 999 times out of 100 times. Two people fighting one person is like, it's over. Okay. There's two of you. Okay. Like, okay. So, however, you know, we'll gladly watch these movies where like one person takes out 20 guys and you're like, no person in a fight is ridiculous. Just at, you know, and it's, but we're so acclimatized to seeing that because it's what we've watched our entire life. Like one guy beating two guys in a fight, one guy beating 20 people in a fight, but it's stupid. Like in real life, two guys almost always are going to defeat one guy in a fight. And certainly 20 guys are definitely going to defeat one guy in a fight. It's outrageous and much more outrageous than a woman defeating a man in a fight. Yet no one sits here. There aren't any like grifter channels complaining every time there's a scene in which one person beats two people in a fight. We just watched House of the Dragon where Aemon beat four guys in a fight with his sword, even though he had been stabbed in the kidney and he has one eye and he defeats four guys in a fight. That's ridiculous, but we just kind of accept it. And you were talking about they have the scene where he's trying to take out 20 guys.
However many suitors are there, so about like 20, a little over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like and they eventually gang up on him as he's shooting them and they start kicking the shit out of him. It's the funniest thing.
Well, as they
Unintentionally funny.
should, because it's ridiculous that we just accept, we just take that like, oh yeah, no, like one guy can take out like 10 dudes. No, he can't. He can't take out 10 dudes. It's silly. And yet we just accept it. No one complains about it. Like that, all these mismatched fights. Anyway, so that was a point that Jose had made that like, yeah, it's unrealistic for a woman to be defeating a man in a fight, just as it's unrealistic for a man to be defeating two people in a fight. Yet the reason that people are complaining about one fantastical situation because they're random and sexist and it bothers them, you know, like who cares, you know, one way or the other. But we're watching stuff on TV that's you know, ridiculous. Thoughts on Ariana's future and the fanfic? Super excited to pick up with young Griff, John Conn's story, and the political situation in King's Landing. Cheers. Yeah, so Ariane and John Conn are going to be together for a long time. I think I'm trying to consolidate the stories. And so even though we've got two different point of views with John Conn and Ariane, I don't see them leaving each other's company. At least not for a while. And so she is going to be there in King's Landing with John Con, doing whatever seduction she can of Aegon and such. I mean, I don't think it's any secret that in the story I'm going to have Cersei. I mean, I put this in the Cersei chapter call that Cersei is vacating King's Landing. She's escaping King's Landing. John Con and young Griff are gonna ascend the throne, and Arianne is going to be there, and she's going to be worrying that Quentin is returning, and thinking that she wants to be queen, and doesn't, her sibling rivalry is going to be taking over in her head, and she doesn't want to be second fiddle to her brother, and so she's going to be trying to manipulate Aegon. And we'll see if it works, but that's more or less, where things are going with her. And of course we've got to deal with things like grayscale and John Con and King's Landing and all the things there. So it's going to be interesting, funny and interesting. There's going to be some fun stuff once we get Cersei out, and then the return. I mean, all these characters are going to return. Like, you're going to see the return of Bronn. You're going to see the return of Varys. You're going to see the return of a lot of characters from King's Landing that we've kind of forgotten about, who are going to now be back. As we establish Aegon as the king, which is talking second half of the book. Aegon is king, and Arianne is going to be there, trying to manipulate him. And we'll see what John Con does. I mean, I haven't completely figured out what they're going to do. They have to do something, they have to do something. But I think that's more or less the Arianne thing. Is she hasn't really learned her lesson, and she is from the Queenmaker, and that she's going to be trying to maybe get married to Aegon, try to become queen, try to take control of his army. There's a few things, as well as the arrival of, if I want to spoil more, but if you remember in Arianne 3, she sent off her raven with the dragon and war messages. You know what I'm talking about? She said war, but war means to stay, while dragon means war. But the thing is like, there's two different camps, and only one army is going to think that war means war and is going to march. And that's going to be the Ironwood army, while the other one is, stays put. And so there's going to be that as well, like dealing with the fact that, this army march. So she's going to have to deal with Ironwood. She's going to have to deal with Anders Ironwood. Like I say, like Varys and Bronn and all sorts of characters are going to appear in that realm. While, I don't know what to do with John Con. I guess John Con might be more focused on planning and logistics, and then she'll be more focused on like the personalities between, on who's on the small council and trying to manipulate Aegon, So we'll see how much they interact. They shouldn't really like each other too much. And then I've got to deal with I don't know what to do. The big sticking point I have is the Septa, what to do with her. Like, who is she? Is she Tyenne's mother? Like, I finally have to make that decision on and have her meet Arianne. So, boo-hoo, I had sex with two hot queens. My life is so bad, Sir Kristen Cole. That's true. He who knows what hot people he was having sex with before those two things, but he it was a good speech. It was a good speech, but I agree with Carmine that we needed a few more days of build up before Gawain really broke, you know. Um
I like how you and Trey have been talking about the Sea Peoples for ages, and they finally come out in this fucking movie. They're finally talked about seriously in this movie.
Another dragon disobeys his rider. That is getting to be, I mean, I guess you can say that it's like the theme of the fucking show, but that, you know, he's the Viserys said it in the beginning that we don't control the dragons. But I guess you're right. Um, but Vagar didn't. I mean, Vagar never really. I mean, Vagar disobeyed him back in season 1, so it's just Vagar disobeying Aemond and again, and Sheepstealer disobeying Rhaena. Um, Is anybody else? Anybody else? Oh, I guess Caraxes disobeyed Daemon for a second, but not too much. Nobody else is riding their fucking dragons. They had a weird random scene with Adam and Bela. I guess they were like, these people have not been on screen enough. We got to give them a fucking scene. You know, when all of a sudden Bela's like, I don't want to just be somebody's lady. I'll be, and it's like, dude, you're the heir to fucking Driftmark. You were offered it, right? Just be fucking. But I'm a fire, not the sea. What kind of bullshit is that? Just be. You're the fucking lady of Driftmark if you want it. What do you think of Tylan just showing up, Carmine? Kind of a coincidence.
For some reason, the fandom, especially the people in your stream chat right now, are like hyping up Tylan's return. Was he a fan favorite without us realizing it? Where did that come from?
Maybe he got some fans when he was like wrestling in the mud with Philosophy Tube. You know, he was a little charming then.
I guess. I don't hate Tylan as a character. It's just like, yeah, cool character. Great to see him back. I wonder if they're going to keep the plot of him being Aegon III's best friend. But, okay, Tylan is back. I mean, yay.
I knew he had to be back just because he's just too important of a role in the rest of the story. It's just like a change that I know they're not, you know, like I say, like Sunfire dying. Like, it's like, you know that Sunfire's not going to die, because it's just like too much of a change. So
someone asked, "Where's Helena's dragon?" Guys, please don't get him started on this. Please, I can't do this. Please don't get him started.
Gawain's story about the Hightower view had to be John Con inspired, right? Yes. The implication that he's gay for Cole, wanted to show him his beautiful land. I mean, I do think it was inspired, but there's so many little things that you're just like, yeah, we get it, Ryan Condal. You read the books. I got it. Okay. We got your Syvass. And though they didn't, their Syvass is not, you're supposed to have a screen and then you're supposed to set up the pieces behind the screen. Did they do, I don't know if they do that, but well, I mean, it's all different from the show. Like Syvass just made it to Dorne in A Feast for Crows. It was like a new thing, you know. They're playing it like it's been in Westeros for centuries. It was like a new game that had just arrived. So, but
that's an interesting thing you're pointing out about like Condal. We get it, Condal. You've read the books. Do you think he actually goes on Twitter, reads these messages and comments of people saying, "Bro, read the books, follow the books"? You know,
no. I mean, I don't think to any. I mean, look, we're all in front of the internet, so like obviously, some people he might do some random checks here and there, but he's probably super busy. I don't think he, you know. is trolling Reddit posts. But I mean, it's obviously enough that he knew that I think he knew about Lemongate. Maybe he's going to read
Let me get this
some.
straight. Hold on. Let me get this straight. He's not reading comments, as everyone surely does. He's not reading comments, but he's watching your theory videos on Lemongate.
No, but Lemongate goes beyond my fucking theory video. I didn't come up with Lemongate. I didn't even name
I know you
Lemongate.
didn't come up with it, but you popularized it. Come on.
Maybe. I mean, but I don't think he knows it's from me. There's a lot of fucking things out there that like, that people popularize and they don't know. People don't realize where it comes from. But
by the way, you need to take the reason I'm bringing this up is because he doesn't know it's from you. I don't know. Maybe one might see a tall, bald man appearing, because the fandom, your community specifically, especially on your subreddit, every single bald, tall character in any movie or show, it's a Preston cameo. You need to. You need. But no. Do you think there are people who are really pushing this Ryan Condal versus George feud? And I've covered it consistently. Do you think the whole Feast for Traitors thing might be a Condal lashing out at George using the title of his fourth book? Because I can see people start saying that. And in fact,
no. Well, first of all, that's another book reference. Like, obviously, he's just throwing in book references. Yes, I think he was he was taking this shit from John Con. Yes, I think he was. They're like I say, like throwing in Sivas and throwing in the Sons of the Harpy and throwing in all of these things, like the young Griff storyline with the changing of the hair, the Sunfire falling from the tower and going into a coma, like it's like obviously all of this shit is from the books, and he's thinking about that when he's throwing it in, when he's peppering everything.
I mean, there's a guy in the sense where who said he's not a book reader? Of course he is.
Yeah, I mean, there was a bunch of other ones too that I caught and then I forgot. I immediately forgot them. But he had peppered the episode with a bunch.
We talked about it for episode 4 podcast, the Balon Swan skull thing.
Yeah, the Balon Swan skull thing. But I'm talking like just in this episode, there's a couple more. But yeah, the Balon Swan and Sun Spear, yeah.
That's such a funny, because people have thrown this insult at you multiple times, at me, at like Lightus and Alt Shift X and stuff. Like, you guys should read the books for once. It's like, what? Like, that's such a weird insult to throw at like Game of Thrones YouTubers, and then like you scramble to be like, I have read the book. You see, in chapter 7, paragraph 5, this happens. So I could kind of see Ryan Condal doing that. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking.
I mean, you are right that like Ryan Condal's obviously read the books. He's probably read the books, 10 times. Okay, he knows the shit. He knows what happened in it. Whether you disagree with his changes, that's another question. But
Ryan Condal read the book like 10 times, but he goes against everything George believes in when it comes to fate in season 2, episode 8.
Just because you read something 10 times doesn't mean you necessarily understand it. There's some interesting comments about, like, I've read about, like, so it's brought up that like Stephen Miller's favorite show was Star Trek. And you're like, when you think about thematically what Star Trek represents, and it is the exact opposite of what Stephen Miller believes, right? Like,
wait. Like Stephen Miller, the guy, the racist in the Trump administration who's behind all like the ICE bullshit, that's Stephen Miller?
Yeah. No, I don't mean like Stephen Miller, like, woo, take the money and run. No, I mean like Stephen Miller.
Stephen Miller's favorite show is Star Trek? Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm not fucking shitting you.
By the way, for those of you who don't know Stephen Miller, I envy you. For those of you who don't know Stephen Miller, real quick, let me just catch you up to date. Stephen Miller only took a job in the Trump administration because his hands were too weak to strangle prostitutes. That's the only reason why he's in. Oh my God. Where the fuck did you find that? Holy shit. This is, oh my god. Get the fuck out of here.
Right. Right.
You
Right.
Gemini, you AI'd that. That's not real.
No, no, that's legit. Now
You Miller's. What the fuck? Oh my
he
god.
right, but like just because you read something, you know, and like it doesn't necessarily mean you really understand it or agree with it thematically. And there's a lot of these people, I mean, like all right wingers that are super into A Song of Ice and Fire, or all any right winger that would be into Star Trek. You know, like the how like you sit back and you're like, how do you enjoy this? How do you not think about the themes? Well, it's just like that's not that they care. They like the aesthetics. They like it on a very shallow level. They don't really get it. Like he's liking Star Trek because it's spaceships that occasionally shoot photon torpedoes and it's colorful and whatever. And the heroes are sometimes fighting evil people, and you know these are the very simple kind of things or what they're relating to, and they're not really getting the thematic elements. Like Star Trek is about communism, like how humanity's future is utopian and communist, and it involves, you know, infinite diversity, um, and exploration and the pursuit of knowledge. And you're like, oh god, like they're not fucking getting it. But
Preston, please stop talking about politics in our political dragon show. Please
I
stop talking
know,
politics.
right?
Thank you for showing me that picture. That picture is hilarious. Oh my god.
I know, man. It is. It's outrageous. It's outrageous. The how you know, I don't know. Like it's funny because it's not that there isn't like an occasional piece of conservative media that is okay. Like that's enjoyable. Like I think fundamentally like Ghostbusters is a pretty conservative movie, where the villain is a guy from the EPA who wants to shut down these small business owners, you know, and that, you know, it's very Ayn Randish when you think about it. And it's a good movie, but I will say that thematically, it's always like upset me, like Ghostbusters. I'd be like,
Hmm.
the EPA guy was fucking 100% correct. Okay, like he's no one should have like a nuclear reactor in downtown Manhattan. Like what the fuck? Uh, is Viserys the second an imposter? He seems like a fake Aegon parallel, but if so, none of his descendants are real Targaryens, which complicates a lot of themes. I think that, and this is a fairly, I mean, I know what you're saying. Like they're bringing back Viserys. He was kidnapped. Viserys the second. He was taken as a child, and so like when you return someone, is there any possibility that is the same? It's the same guy. Um, and you know, you are right that it very much kind of feels like the young Griff plot. Like how do we know that Viserys the second was real? And I think in the end, because it's not like you had a dragon. He didn't have a dragon that you could like verify, um, you know, and things like that. Um, and this is kind of an important part of the the family tree. I want to show something here. Okay. Oops. All right. So we kind of know that like Viserys comes back with with this foreign wife, and you could kind of imagine that maybe this foreign wife like also didn't have the ability. Like we're going to be talking about dragon hatching here, okay? So Aegon the Third is the last one with a dragonbane, and so his brother Viserys, he's followed by his daughters are passed over. Specifically, Dana the Defiant is passed over. She's the only person that's actually passed over because of the Council of 101. That's the only relevance the Council of 101 ever had in history, is Dana the Defiant getting passed over for Baelor. Baelor, is celibate, doesn't have any kids. And so you could kind of say, like, okay, if Aegon has the special Targaryen genes, he's only passing it on to Dana. And so you could then get Viserys II and Lara. You could say that, well, if he is an imposter, then there's no Dragon X gene getting passed down until you get to Aegon. And it doesn't matter if Aegon is special or not, because he has an affair with Dana the Defiant, and they have Daemon Blackfyre. And so you could argue that it was all about the dragon hatching, and that if you're really talking about the line of Rhaenyra, and that the special genes of Rhaenyra and Daemon, who they desperately wanted off the throne, Aegon III, things passed to Dana the Defiant, and the Faith kept Baelor from breeding. And so it's really just all about Dana the Defiant, keeping Dana the Defiant's genes off the throne. Now, and is this achieved with an imposter Viserys? Yes. And now if you go like Dragon X, then it kind of doesn't matter, because Lara was a foreigner, and so Viserys, she could only pass. If Viserys had a Dragon X gene, he could only pass it to Nerys, but then she could pass it to Daeron, or Daenerys, Dornish Daenerys, and it would, yeah, Viserys II being a imposter makes a lot of sense. Whether you believe in Dragon X specifically, or if you just believe in a kind of general sense that Targaryen blood needs to have something, needs to have some sort of genetic aspect to it. If Viserys II were a foreigner and Lara was a foreigner, nothing's getting passed down until Daemon Blackfyre. Daemon Blackfyre is the danger. I think it's a really cool idea that Viserys II is an imposter, because it very starkly shows why Daemon Blackfyre, they would not want Daemon Blackfyre on the throne, because Daemon Blackfyre is the only one left with Targaryen blood. That everybody else is, they're Valyrian, but they're not Targaryen, So I think that's a pretty cool idea. But you are right that, like, he lives in exile, he comes back. I mean, obviously we're paralleling some War of the Roses stuff, where people like live in exile and come back. William the Lionheart, or whatever. Was he the one that was in exile? Richard, yeah, I mean, yeah, he was William. Hello. How are you, Trent?
Hello. It's good to see you. Hey, Preston.
Let me get a overlay screen for you.
Pulling up your stream right now, so I have the comments.
Mr. Trey.
Oh, hey, Carmine. How are you guys?
I was watching your Odyssey review.
Oh yeah, yeah. What'd you think? Any good? I was rambling a whole bunch, I feel like.
I need to watch the movie in full. I did see that. I was telling Press, and I saw that one scene where when he's killing the suitors, they start kicking the shit out of him after like ganging up on him. But it was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, yeah.
Prison yard style.
They had a John Wick kind of like fight with Odysseus, where it's like him versus like 60 guys, and he like is like it is like John Wick. It is like crazy. Wow. Wow. What did we think of the episode, guys? What's the? I haven't watched the stream.
It was a good episode, but Carmine was saying it kind of makes episode 4 useless. Like, why was it there? Episode 5 is just a better episode 4. You redid it. Yep. Very good acting scenes. A lot of long, like, intense scenes between people. Thought it was and really they should have, whoever put together episode 5, they should have had that person just do a kind of a longer situation where there was more of Gawain and Cole and their antics in the forest and stuff like that. More with, I think we needed more with Aemond and Alice.
Yeah.
I even the point where like Aegon and Larys's conversation in this episode was just so much better than the stuff in the previous episode. So I don't know. Like the rant that Larys, like
the roast, the good roast that he gives them.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that bit.
Before masturbating about his feet, Oh well, he didn't do that. Oh, okay. Oh. Feel like he should be doing that. I think when that was established as his character. But yeah. Yeah. What was that, Trey?
Well, I was just gonna say, you're right. It feels like we're wasting episodes here. We only have so many episodes this season, and not much was accomplished in these past 2 episodes.
Right.
Like,
they say the 6-episode season, and it's like, man, what's going on? We didn't get to what's going on with the we didn't get Hugh's wife at all. What's going on with her? Really important stuff.
Dragon seeds were absent this episode when they're probably going to play a big important role towards the next few episodes. Why are the dragon seeds absent? Why are you guys not doing anything with them to set up that eventual betrayal? You guys, Trey's right. They're wasting episodes.
We needed.
Right.
What did we need? We needed a scene between Alicent and Massaria where she's like, you go, girl, you do your own thing. And she needed a scene with her and Orwell where she's like, you're a friend. I don't know.
It's like, did we ever feel like, did we have a connection before? Like, was this established? Like, no.
I mean, it was a little brutal when she like drank the moon tea herself. Like, I get like that's a brutal scene, but like it's also pointless. Like, okay. Time killing.
I like there's a lot of time killing. We need we need mini bosses. We need these little these bandits, these unnamed goons to spawn in Harrenhal for the
frozen Trey. Yeah. But the yes, absolutely.
Oh, shoot, I'm so sorry.
Oh, no worries. But but yeah, the random boss battles. But at least they did address finally, like, if those guys keep, like, at least one guy was like, I want to have sex with Alice Rivers. Like all the other goons arrive, and he's like, only one of them was like, I want to have sex with Alice Rivers. Like, she's a catch. She's a catch. She's a catch for these guys. But yeah, but closing up on the Viserys 2 thing, I don't think it necessarily destroys the theme stuff, because again, like, I guess, this idea that somehow Daenerys is real, like, we don't know if Daenerys is real. I think the House of the Red Door might make her fake too, and then Aegon is fake and she's fake. You know, it doesn't. I think it's fine that there's no real Targaryens in the story. Would be kind of funny as we think that there's all these Targaryen claimants. There's actually 0 Targaryen claimants. Man. So you're a big fan of Troy, Trey?
Troy, like the Brad Pitt movie?
Yeah, of course. I mean Odyssey.
Okay, it's like Nolan's Odyssey, or am I a fan of Troy of the Brad Pitt Troy?
No, I meant Odyssey.
Sorry, I'm like,
I didn't mean Troy.
oh, okay.
No.
My opinion on Odyssey is mixed. I think
Oh.
whenever people ask me my opinion, it's complicated. Like I think there's some very strong aspects of it, but like I think it's a little sloppy in some areas. Like I think the dialogue is really kind of cringe in some points, and I'm not super impressed with some of the performances. And some of the costumes and art direction is kind of not great too, but they handle like the mythological stuff really well, and they've done some things where they're challenging the source material and making this bigger than it actually is. You know, like I like that. Like there's stuff for me to like, but there's also things I don't like about it too. But on the whole, it's like a very competently made movie. So yeah.
So someone says that Anne Hathaway turns to the camera and is like, begun this Bronze Age collapse has now, or whatever. Begun this Bronze Age collapse. You know, like Yoda at the end of Attack of the Clones. Begun this Clone Wars has begun this Bronze Age collapse.
Sorry, I keep freezing.
Oh, no
let's
worries.
See, I might try to call back.
You're just
But no, she
you're
does.
Just a little
that is
nervous. I know you're freezing.
that scene is like super. There's some very cringy stuff where like the characters are like aware that they're living in the Bronze Age collapse, and there is a line. I wrote this down like as soon as the movie was done because it was so. It was our age of bronze is ending. Our civilization of bronze is ending. Our civilization of bronze is collapsing. And you're just like,
civilization of bronze.
Like they do something interesting with like the story taking place during the Bronze Age collapse or during the end of the Bronze Age. Like that's interesting thematically, but the dialogue is so cringe. Like that I like it's such weird. Like it's like a character being aware that the Roman Empire is falling, you know, like that's just not how history works, you know, like you're not aware of these trends that we create hundreds of years later.
Right, retroactively. Like in the middle of the Industrial Revolution, no one's sitting there being like, look at this revolution of industry, you know, like it's not.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, like we live in Pax Romana. Like, oh, okay. All right. The one thing I also read was that Nolan is kind of a victim of what happened to superhero movies where everything is kind of muted, or Jason Bourne movies where everything is muted. All the colors are muted and nobody's colorful anymore. And it's like, you know, in medieval times, in ancient times, people wore incredibly colorful garments and went to war looking like peacocks. And now everybody's like in these like muddy, gritty, like colorless black outfits. And you're like, what are you doing? Where's the spectacle? Everybody has to look cool.
They try to keep to that in Troy.
Yeah.
Like in Troy, Agamemnon and like forget his brother's name, but they do dress up in colorful outfit and colorful garb. I think the only person who dresses in leather, I think, is Brad Pitt's Achilles, and I think the only reason he does that is maybe to move faster. He has like less armor and more like a garb on. So
even Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon falls victim of this, that everything has to be muted colors and less colorful. When you know George writes very colorful world. I think it works a little bit better in Game of Thrones specifically because there is a constant contrast between Westeros and Essos, and that Like you're like, I'm in this drab place and then I'm in this vibrant place. And so I do think that like it works a little better in Game of Thrones, but versus House of the Dragon, where it's just gray all the time. But it's like, why this movement of everything being gray is kind of crazy. Like what happened to the vibrant colors of the world?
I hate it. It's one of my criticisms of this movie is not necessarily that it's not historically accurate, but that it's like it's ugly, you know, like the ugly.
Yeah.
Like it's funny, like where they use like like Odysseus's house, the inside is modeled after the palace of Knossos in Crete. And you can see like reconstructions of what it would have looked like. And the Odyssey, Nolan's Odyssey, has taken it, and like it's a relatively accurate recreation of the interiors, like of the columns or of walls and chairs, but they've sucked the color out for some reason. You're just like, well, the color is there. You just chose not to depict the color. Like I don't know, and all the houses and forts in this movie are like ruins. Like they look like they're just gray brick exposed. You know, no color. And just like that's not what they, I don't know, it just doesn't feel
what I love is like this is what Greek statues actually looked like. Oops, not that one. That's my character from but it's like, you know, they were colorful. They painted like they painted stuff to be colorful. But you know, we get this idea that like Greece is white marble everywhere, and you're like, because the rain washed off all the paint. Like that's it. But it's the same when we get this idea that like medieval castles were brick, you know, or stone, and you're like, yeah, no, you know, they had plaster. They would plaster and paint the insides of their walls. Like they liked color. No one wants to live in you know, these gray, drab, dungeon-like locations, okay? Like, everything was colorful. They liked color. People like color.
Right, but we discussed this before. This is, like, what comes into effect with the Tiffany problem. Like, the Tiffany was actually a common name in medieval times. But if you have a movie or a show and there's a character named Tiffany in medieval England, people are going to be like, what? No, no way.
Right.
Yeah, but it was common back then. So what are you going to do?
That's the thing, is like the expectations of what modern society thinks ancient society is like linger, you know? Like some people are like, it's still a little cringe to like hear American accents in some of these like ancient peoples. And you're like, because I'm so used to hearing old British dudes. Like if they were all speaking with an old British accent. But you know, it is kind of weird that like Matt Damon is Odysseus, you know, like that's just kind of weird. Like because it's
Trey, we might get into an argument about this, but I will honestly take people speaking British in Roman times or ancient Greek times over Robert Pattinson going, you're just a bastard and your father left you. My dad will come back in the American accent. Maybe I just don't like American accent during like ancient times, medieval, Roman, ancient Greek. I'd rather have British if we're gonna have any accent.
Well, this idea.
Have you seen Ben-Hur?
I have not.
Ben-Hur's it's a great ancient Rome movie, and American accents just casually just thrown around. It exists before the idea that British should be the norm for ancient times. I don't know. It might be the fact. I think Robert Pattinson did a great job in Odyssey. I don't know if I didn't really like Tom Holland, and I didn't really like Matt Damon as the characters. And I think it's just like their delivery or something like that. And the script at time can be really clunky. Like I don't know who to blame for me feeling this way about the movie. I think the script was really clunky with some of like the dialogue, like our age of bronze is collapsing, our civilization of bronze is collapsing. When they're trying to get, like when they're explaining, they have stuff like that, like when like they're trying to explain like how they're getting cursed by the Cyclops, and they're like, I heard the Cyclops, he said he was the son of Poseidon, that means he's going to curse us. Oh shoot, we need to go somewhere else. It's the dialogue's a little forced and clunky in some areas because they need these characters to go. They need them to deliver these lines and go directions. And I don't know who to blame for that,
But I'm trying to think now about all of Nolan's movies and why people like them. And people like them for the visuals. They like them for the plot twists. They like them for incredible acting performances that exist within them. But I don't know if anyone's sitting there being like, fucking great dialogue. This is very different than A Few Good Men, where when you watch A Few Good Men, it's a bunch of people standing fucking around and it's so fucking good because the dialogue is so fucking good. Right? That is a fucking great movie, right? For dialogue. My Cousin Vinny. Again, it's another movie where people are mostly standing around. It's funny. And the dialogue is so fucking good. The acting is great, but the dialogue is so fucking good in that movie. I don't think people are sitting around being like, oh, fuck the dialogue in Interstellar.
Interstellar has cringe dialogue in it. I'm remembering. Interstellar has the bit where Anne Hathaway's what does she say? She says love transcends space and time or something like that. And you're just
right.
Ugh. You're like, ugh.
Right. So I think maybe, Nolan needs better script writers. He's a great director. Obviously he is the director of our time, right? There's nobody right now who compares to Nolan. There's no one that's pulling in the audience.
Not even Tarantino?
When's the last time Tarantino did a fucking movie?
Give him a minute. He's cooking. Give him a minute.
You are right that Nolan is the king of pacing and lighting and an action scene build up and stuff and sound.
I mean,
you're right.
Tarantino's another one.
The spectacle.
Tarantino's is he's got the double hit because he's the screenwriter. He writes the script and he directs. So it's Tarantino movies have great dialogue. And they're very well paced. Tarantino is a master of pacing. But when you're talking spectacle on screen, I don't think anybody beats Nolan.
Someone's here saying James Cameron, and I think James
Cameron's great. No, you're right. James. It's funny that James Cameron can just have hit after fucking hit after fucking hit after fucking hit, and still
Until
people are
doesn't with The Last Duel.
They're just whatever. James Cameron's he's not one of the greatest directors of all time, but even though he's clearly one of the greatest directors of all time, but no one believes it because there's nothing art housey about James Cameron. He's just straight up I am doing the fucking blockbuster, and there's something to I don't know.
Trey, would you be cool with me sending you the original Odyssey miniseries from 1997? It's one of my favorite movies as a kid. I watched it the other day. It's still my favorite. It's a 2-part miniseries. I think they do a lot of the stuff better in that movie. Scylla, the multiple-headed monster, looks better in 97 version than the one I saw in there. They actually do the whirlpool monster. The gods actively show up. When he's killing the suitors, his wrist isn't limp. I don't know if you noticed that, but when he's shooting the bow and arrow, it's maybe I'm too used to watching actual archers like Hawkeye or fucking Legolas actually pull that shit back and but Matt Damon at the end, he was just with his limp wrist. I don't know if you had an issue with that, but let me send you this thing, watch it, and we'll talk about
please
it.
I'd be so down.
Do I still think the Tyrells didn't kill Joffrey? I think everyone in the fandom agrees that the Tyrells killing Joffrey is one of the dumbest plot points in A Song of Ice and Fire. Maybe only second to Joffrey sent the cat's paw dagger, sent the cat's paw. I
What?
think that you got to remember that A Storm of Swords, it's a miracle book, but it was also written very, very fucking fast. And now that I know a lot more about like the background of when these things were written and stuff like that, and a little bit more about George's like personality and how he writes, I think that he wrote A Storm of Swords really, really fucking quick, and he threw that out there. But at the same time, I don't think he's like committed to truth in his mind. So I think George is like, maybe the Tyrells killed Joffrey. And I'm just going to throw that in there. And maybe I'll get back to this later. Because he also seeded a whole bunch of other shit. I mean, he definitely seeded that it could be in the pie. The Knights of the Kingsguard have a whole chapter where they sit there and argue about like who could be the killer, and they use very poor logic on why they keep coming back to the goblet and stuff like instead of the pie and stuff like that. I think George definitely was being ambiguous, and he definitely threw in the Tyrells as a possibility, as a placeholder, if you will. And if and then he's just like, I just need to keep going. And maybe I'll go back and fix it if I want. Maybe I won't. And so, when I say like, oh, do I think the Tyrells killed Joffrey? Well, I mean, I don't want that. It's certainly not the truth in the fanfic. And it's a really dumb idea. It's fantastically dumb idea that the Tyrells killed Joffrey. Something that anyone thinking about it for 10 minutes would be like, that doesn't make any sense. But do I think that like George, in his very quick writing of A Storm of Swords, placed it in as a placeholder and like believed it at the moment? Sure. But he also placed in a lot of outs so that he wouldn't have to paint himself into the corner, and he could change it if he wanted later. That's what I think he did. George doesn't like to write anything with commitment. Like everything has a degree of ambiguity, where he's just like, maybe this. And then, well, what happens if you don't come back? Now your maybe is just there. My second child, we didn't really have a firm name. So we just kind of had this like, well, if we can't come up with something, we've got this fallback name. And he's named the fallback name. Like we have we're like, well, if we come up with something better, we'll name him that. We never came up with something better. And so it's like, oh, did you like? I mean, it's his name now because we never went back, and George is never going to write more. So like, you're never going to have him going back to change that Joffrey sent the cat's paw dagger, or that the Tyrells killed Joffrey. Like, you just kind of have to like accept this like poorly thought out, in one case Tyrion drunk thinking about something, and in another case Littlefinger, the biggest liar in the story, like saying something to Sansa, like, and we just have to fucking take it. Like, because there's nothing more.
And misremembering stuff, and misremembering like send a dog to kill a wolf.
Send a dog to kill a wolf, right? And
you're like, you could have gotten it identical. Why didn't you just try it? Like, if you really wanted this to be for sure, why not just have the exact same dialogue pooled instead of getting it wrong? Like,
right? It's like he purposely went back and got it wrong.
Because there's been the only instance I can think of where George has gone back and changed something is like the Jane Westerling hip thing. Remember this? Mm-hmm. Like in like the first edition, it says that she has narrow hips or something in Feast. Yeah. And he is like, I'm going to literally go back and change that error. I cannot tolerate that.
Cannot let it stand.
Which is so weird. It's just like, that's the
right.
one.
Like, there's little things like like the one that gets people is like Sam thinking about Craster and like being Mance's, like the baby being, what's the line about It doesn't make any fucking sense. I'm going to bring up Samwell. He says about Aemond Battleborn. He says, the boy was Mance's son and Craster's grandson after all. He had none of Sam's craven blood. And it's like, you try to think about that and you're like, okay, he's Mance's son, but he's definitely not Craster's grandson. Like why does he think like is Dala one of Craster's like wives? Like
Dollars was one of the wives.
Right, you're
this whole
like,
time. This whole time.
What, like it's a nonsense line. It's fucking nonsense. And like anybody, he could, and you could just go back and just delete N. Craster's grandson. The boy with Mance's son, after all. He had none of Sam's craven blood. Like, just, you could delete the N. Craster's grandson. You could have gone back and fixed that. That's just like complete nonsense that's left in the book. It's been in there since 2005. It's been 21 fucking years. Has he gone back and changed that? No. Like, that's a
it's
clear...
weird that because he also makes a mistake. He also makes like another mistake where he has like Theon say that like he calls it the king's wood instead of the king's moot or something like that. Yeah. And just like, why not change that? Like, why not fix or that like, very simple like typo?
Or Aemon thinking about whether or not Darion is going to be waiting for him in the afterlife, and you're like, I mean, clearly he made, they met Daron, but he says Darion as if Darion the singer. He's like worrying about Darion the singer for some reason. I don't know why, like why he goes back for some mistakes and not others. Hi Preston, Jordan said Bran will be king of
it's like, what are the,
yeah,
what, I was going to say, why not have the minions, like these minions that are doing Jack, these minions that are doing Jack, why don't they go back and fix these errors, these typos?
These errors. I mean, I guess it would just go on forever fixing errors. But
okay.
I mean, you've got Elio. I'm sure Elio, like off the top of his head, like knows all of the things that are wrong. Hi Preston. George said Bran will be king. King of what? There's a lot of fun options. North, R&I, Seven Kingdoms. Also, the dragons are the death of magic, but the world does not seem all that magical prior. Oh, the dragons. Okay. I mean, I think that when they're talking about Bran being king, like, yeah, the original plan was for Bran to be king of the Seven Kingdoms. And that's just like, that's the idea in the end. I'm trying to think of like, would they leave him as king of the North and things like that? And it's just, I don't know. Like I really, the more we get into it and the more we find stuff, it seems like, at least originally, the Game of Thrones ending had a lot of the plot points of George's story. And even though some of them changed, like Asha trying to rescue Theon, like that somehow that there was some sort of outline that was sent that George didn't necessarily take very seriously, but sent. And that's the thing, is like, when you say like George said Bran will be king, George changes his mind and he changes stuff, so again, we're never going to get to the end of the story. Like, that's just not happening. Like, even if you're accepting the Winds of Winter is going to happen, we're not getting to the end of a Dermot Spring. Like, no, like, come on. Like, so, I mean, will Bran be king? No, Bran's never going to be fucking king, at least according to George. So, like, just, this, it's like, sorry. But yeah, was that George's plan? Absolutely. I mean, absolutely. Bran is the opening chapter of the story. Bran's the most important character. He's the one that, like, you're not expecting to be king, who's going to be king in the end. Like, it fits everything George thinks. And when I say king, yeah, king of the Seven Kingdoms, king of the thing that we're supposed to be care about. But if dragons are the death of magic, the world doesn't seem that magical prior. Again, we go at this, like, what is magic definition, but, like, clearly things were pretty fucking magical or technologically advanced when the wall was built, when Storm's End was built, when the Eyrie is built. All of these things it's very clear that no one can do those things today. That's like outrageous that Storm's End, like, exists as a structure. So the thing is like, where were the dragons at that point? Like, what's strange is that, like, prior to the Age of Dragons, things were even more magical. So maybe, maybe there's just been a long descent of magic that has nothing to do with the dragons. The thing is, the connection of the dragons with the magic is just oddly. My problem is a Clash of Kings when it becomes, like, so overwhelmingly, like, explicit when the wisdoms with the wildfire are like, are there dragons around? And you're like, oh God, why would anyone be, like, asking that question? Like, it's just, we were able to make wildfire so much quicker. Are there dragons around? Like, like, he would have no way to know that dragons were actually born all the way in the East. Like, obviously only the reader knows this. But then, like, how exactly is wildfire made? Is it really made through magical means? What does it have to do with dragons? I have a real weird problem with that. It always sticks with me. I'm just like, what's, like, even accepting that magic exists in the world, like, how does it exist to the point where it would, that a bunch of dragons in Karth would somehow cause a bunch of pyromancers to make more wildfire? Like, how does that fucking work? Even in a magical sense, like, if you put that into, like, Harry Potter, like a fully magical world, would they even do that? Like, like, some other part of the world, somebody does something magical, and then somebody else is like, "Whoa, it's suddenly really easy to make wildfire." Like, it's such a fucking random thing.
I'm with you. That's some poorly written stuff right there. There's elements of that too with, like, doesn't one of the Duncan Eggs thing, he's talking to the old, what is his Sir Arland, and Sir Arland believes that, like, the winters get longer after dragons are dead, like the dragons control the seasons too.
Right.
It's like, I don't know how that really works, but okay.
Okay.
Like, you can kind of tell that's, like, the direction George is going in. Like,
I think just in that moment that he's writing that chapter, he's just like, I want to make this interesting so that the reader is going to be like, ooh, what? Ooh. So he's going to, like, throw that in. So oh my God. Like, he's just thinking about it in that moment. I thought about, oh God, I'm kind of spoiling something for what I still have to do one last chapter for going over Game of Thrones, but there's something that
yeah, I've been waiting for it.
I know,
Danny.
But there's something in that chapter that got me, and now I've got to bring it up because it's very relevant to this idea of, like, what was George thinking when he wrote this? And sometimes it's just like, in that moment, he was just trying to be interesting. Like, or in that moment, he was just trying to write something that sounded cool. And there's so many moments like that you kind of come across where you're like, yeah, that's all there is to it. So, but this is some let me find it. It's so fucking small, and you're gonna think I'm like crazy. There it is. So the first line of the last Daenerys chapter, which I think is the best. Keep in mind, I think this is the best chapter of a Game of Thrones. I think it's one of the greatest things that George has ever written. Is the last chapter of a Game of Thrones. It's beautiful. The land was red and dead and parched, and good wood was hard to come by. Her foragers returned with gnarled cottonwoods, purple brush, sheaves of brown grass. Okay, that's the first 2 sentences. Okay. Gnarled cottonwoods. Okay. Cottonwood is not a tree that gnarls around. Okay. It's just like it's a very straight tree. It's also a tree that like exists in very wet, moist areas. Okay. Cottonwood is very common to the eastern United States. There's nothing like, it's just a regular fucking tree. Okay. It looks like a regular fucking tree. Like no one is sitting there being like gnarled cottonwood. It's just a regular fucking tree. Okay. And it does not live in a place like the Red Waste. Okay. It's like a stupid idea that when he's talking about it being dry and parched and everything, that they would return with gnarled cottonwood. So why the fuck are they returning with gnarled cottonwood? Because gnarled cottonwood sounds cool. That's it. That's all there is to it. Like when you think of that, her foragers returned with gnarled cottonwoods, purple brush, and sheaves of brown grass. Like that's beautiful rolling off the tongue. It's beautiful rolling off the tongue. And it makes no fucking sense. Okay. Gnarled fucking cottonwoods in the middle of the goddamn like Red Waste. No. But in that moment, George is just trying to write something beautiful. And her foragers returned with gnarled cottonwoods, purple brush, sheaves of brown grass is beautiful sounding. And that's all that he's thinking about in that moment. So there's a lot of those things, like what people think about in that moment. Like, are there any dragons around? He's just trying to get us to think this chapter is interesting.
I haven't talked to you since I finished reading Windhaven.
Oh yeah,
like, man, what a boring George R.R. Martin piece of work. Like it's like I think I described it as competent, but man, is it boring? Is it just like the most toothless? Like it is almost like something that like George R.R. Martin would satirize or parody. You know, like it's just like I don't know. I have opinions about it.
I think I'm not that. I don't think it's not be that harsh on it. It's competent. I think it feels like young adult fiction prior to even like modern young adult fiction, which has gotten very dark and edgy. Like young adult fiction today is actually rather dark and edgy. When you think that like Maze Runners and like Golden Compass, like that's all young adult, but it's like there's a lot of fucking very serious dark themes in there. And so the fact that like I can't even call it like young adult fiction for like in a modern sense because modern young adult fiction is so much edgier. But it feels like this is targeted towards young adults, like Windhaven. Like it's very hopeful and
it's too hopeful. I'm like this sucks.
Right.
Like, I'm like this is.
Do you think it's toothless because George wrote it with Lisa Tuttle? I'm pretty sure that's the one he wrote with her.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. I
absolutely.
It is like it feels unlike George. Like it doesn't feel like George to me. Like the writing style feels like George.
There's no incest. There's no pedophilia. There is no murder. There is no like. there is no government killing everyone. There's no apocalypse. Okay, there's no one getting cannibalized. There's like There's no
For me, it's
lesbians.
the lack of subversion, like that. There's that like
There is a lack
she's
of
the like
subversion. Yeah.
there's a lack of and she defeats the bad guy, and there you go. It's as simple as that. She defeats the arrogant bad guy, and you're like, okay, all right. Like that's the thing is, I finished it, and like, there's nothing for me to say about this. You know, like I finished something like Song for Leah or Seven Times Never Kill Man or I don't know, one of the countless, like even like Tough Voyaging. I feel like I have something to say. With this, it's just like, man, that is the story is what the story is. It's, you know,
Well,
like,
I mean, all those stories, like Tough Voyaging, involves like Tough Voyaging ends with mass sterilization, and Seven Times Never Killed
yeah,
Man ends with children being executed. You know, like and
yeah.
starvation. Like each of these stories, like you're like, oh, like could you? It doesn't even like could you like take Meat House Man and like Windhaven, and you're like, this is written by the same fucking person. Like those two stories, right? Like, it's like if you went to see a Quentin Tarantino movie, and it was like, it was like I don't know, Shark Boy and Lava Girl or something. You'd be like, what? Which I suppose is that situation, right? Isn't it Robert Rodrigo or whatever? Like this, like
Yeah.
Anyway, Adam exists. Yeah, I am happy they finally gave Adam a scene. It's the first time I really thought I understood his personality. And the actor did a great job with that, with all of a sudden Adam being like, whoa, this is like this super hopeful, cool guy. What a dude. You know, he has more connection with Bela than, considering that, she's supposed to marry Alan. Like he seems to have a better connection than with her than anybody else. Oh man, Bela, the girl everyone has a connection with, and then they die. Ryan better mention the time traveling fetus. I don't know if that's gonna happen. Somebody did mention the moon. The moon theory is the moon theory did come up in the episode where Helena is like wanting to see the moon, and you're like, oh, because you need to telepathically talk to people. Why hasn't Damon gone to talk to Helena? If I saw a fucking vision of the end of the world and Helena was fucking there telling me about it, wouldn't I go to fucking talk to her about the end of the world visions? She's in the fucking castle. He's in the fucking castle. Why aren't they fucking talking about this?
They literally, like, she's like a room over. You're right. She's just down the hall.
Just down the hall, like, oh right, that end world prophecy that I saw. Fuck, I should talk to her.
Isn't that one of your old school theories that the moon is a satellite or something?
Yeah, I mean, the moon is a satellite, but yes, in the sense that it's like bouncing signals.
Right. Thank you.
People are bouncing signals off the moon.
That's why Doran waited for the moon to come out to open the letter. He wanted to send
that was the idea.
His thoughts.
Yes, I mean, they literally have people talking through the moon in A Dance with Dragons and stuff. I mean, whether you think it's like a magical thing, like I just use the moon for my magic, but George is such a space guy that you'd be like, oh, the moon can be used to bounce signals off. You'd think that'd be a George thing, but I don't know. I loved Aegon's conversation with Larys. He's so much worse human being. But he's much worse human being. It's true. He barely resembles season 1 Kinslayer persona anymore. I hope we learn his goals before he dies. It is funny that Larys of all people can be like, can say to someone like, you're a horrible person. Of course, he's saying he's a horrible person because of his sloth, not because like he wanted Aegon to like just be killing people right and left. Like, I mean, I don't necessarily think that it's inconsistent, but like Larys is fucking nuts, you know. But he but independent of that though, it's a completely different personality. He's so together. He's so composed while he was so vicious in season 1. I mean, in season 1, he was torturing people, ripping people's tongues out, murdering his own family, masturbating to Alicent's feet. Like, he was doing a lot. And did he do anything really bad in season 2? Kidnapped.
He abducted Otto, apparently.
He abducted Otto. I'm surprised that no one in the castle like informed anybody. Like, oh yeah, Alicent, we abducted your dad. You know, like everybody. I understand that Larys has control of the Black Cells, but you'd think like one Black Cells guy would be like, maybe I should report this. You know, like, but yeah, he just did not do the same fucking weird ass shit that he did. Talking about lemons, but you know, I mean, he was more like comparable to like Dark Knight Joker or something in like the season 1, and now he's just a guy. Like having very frank arguments, very frank, non-manipulative arguments with Tywin Lannister, who looked fucking great, you know, after surviving his drowning.
How did he get there? I like how they had that scene where it's like, oh, if you wear armor, you'll drown, and nobody wearing armor drowned. Not even one.
No. And like, it's just such a coincidence, like that he would wash up on the shore and they'd walk to the same fucking town. That he'd be like, Rook's Rest. Why? Like, why are you there? Like, it's a remarkable fucking coincidence that you are.
He didn't even talk about it. He didn't even give
try
an
to
explanation
explain
of how
He's just like, I'm here, guys. Like,
it's like Maz Kanata with Luke's lightsaber. He goes, "That's a story for another day." They don't even do that.
I mean, is there? I'm trying to like. Let's try to. Oh God.
It's a story for another day.
Carmine, like Map of the South. Carmine's favorite when I pull out Map of the South.
Bro, use a modern map.
Okay, so there's Rook's Rest. Would one argue, okay, that's the closest. That's the closest place.
Did he swim? Did he like? Okay, he was on Driftmark.
I've been waiting to talk about this with Preston for quite some time. And Trey, your point. You go back and watch episode 1 when he gets thrown overboard. There's some rocks there, so realistically, like he probably just landed on the rocks and maybe he didn't drown. Okay, fine, but how did he? Yeah, you're right. Did he swim there? Like, how did he just take off his armor and then just swim there and somehow avoid all the Triarchy forces plaguing the coast? How did that happen? There's no explanation.
Right. If anything, he's going to be on some small rocks around Dragonstone and Driftmark, so that he would come ashore on Driftmark probably, and so then you'd have to find a ship, and then.
But Driftmark won the battle, so it's not like the Triarchy's on Driftmark, right? Didn't Corlys didn't his men win technically, so they have control of Driftmark?
He would have to wave down a Triarchy ship, and then the Triarchy ship would be like, fuck it, let's go to the coast to Reeve. And then he's like, thanks for the ride, guys. And then he'd be like, I'm going to walk.
Wait. No, you know what? This guy, Tamello in your stream chat, honestly, just shut me the fuck up. He says here, he survived the same way Davos did. Yeah. Okay. You know what?
You're right.
Wrap it up.
I mean, you're right, because everything is mirroring the books. right? So, but then he should have like an entire moment where he's like, he saw the mother and
He was richly garbed too. He was wearing like
was
pretty
richly
nice
garbed.
clothes for being.
I guess he sold his armor for some richly garb. Was he wearing that cloak and richly garment underneath
He was
his
wearing
armor?
the cloak.
I love
That's
this
a good
comment. He
question.
stripped
Probably
nude and
not,
hitched a
right?
ride from the nicest ship captain in Westerosi history. Yeah. Yeah.
Who will
Expressing
sex
all the pirates
Shula?
Maybe the other Triarchy ships in the past got loose and Tylan rode with them to Rook's Rest. We know the pirates raided. Maybe like
And then
maybe
had
the
a change of
pirates are
clothes.
somewhat loyal to him. I guess. I don't.
That's the thing, is they have no loyalty to him. Like, their captain is dead.
That was really all Lohar. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what sexuality?
Attack next
I
episode.
have no idea.
I don't know what that means.
This seems like a troll super chat. I mean, I would ignore it.
Well, we'll see if anything else is from him. Have you heard from my boy McConnell? McConnell is clearly like brain dead, and he was brain dead before this latest situation. They just don't want, to do it. They're just putting off the news until.
So was that photo fake?
Propaganda.
They released that photo. Is it a fake photo where he's holding up the paper? Is it a fake?
I
photo?
think the thing is like you only needed to. People are like, oh, is the photo, like, you can just take an old photo and pop in the newspaper. But also, like, why is there a need to do that? The thing is like
right, if he's fine.
Right, if you're fine, or you don't care about people and you want to troll the libs or whatever, or why wouldn't you release 10 photos or a video, or you'd go on camera and talk to people and be like, thanks everybody, thanks for your concern. Instead, it's like so staged. I'm going to put on jeans so that I don't look sickly, and I'm going to be have with that newspaper so everybody knows. It's like clearly you're fucking
like a hostage photo.
Yeah, clearly you're brain dead. We get it.
Poker face, Allison. Don't listen to Preston. This is Democrat propaganda. That video of Mitch McConnell doing one push-up on one finger, I mean, that was totally real. The guy's alive, clearly, and he's stronger than ever. So
yeah. Comment got too long and expensive. I'm poor, so it's posted below. Could the prince that was promised prophecy be a misinterpretation of old Valyrian telepath breeding instructions, closer to the Kizech Hatterach from Dune, calculated or no promise? So I'm going to start and say, like, okay, obviously there's a lot in the story that is kind of hinted at with Dune, because a lot is based on Dune. I mean, I'm saying, like, the Aes Sedai of Wheel of Time is clearly, like, also based on Dune, and I think the Maesters are based on all of that too. So I do think, like, having a conspiracy of advisors who are close to all of the kings who are manipulating shit is like, it's an established fantasy trope long enough that George is using it. I think, now when I think of, like, do I think the prophecy is an instruction? I think that if you, I think perhaps in the short term. So I'm thinking specifically with, like, what you're saying here, specifically with, like, Dunk and Egg. So you've got Aegon the Unlikely, who is thrust on the throne for some reason. And you have to ask yourself, well, why? Why is he thrust on the throne? And, at least the Sworn Sword and Mystery Knight kind of make it clear that Bloodraven is doing this shit, right? So that Bloodraven is causing problems. And it's pretty clear that he's like, at least in the Mystery Knight, he's the one causing the prophecy that causes Daemon Blackfire II to like try to come out and do his coup attempt, and then they catch him, and it seems like it's all Bloodraven's like doing. And you also hear about Aerys being controlled by Bloodraven with their prophecies and shit like that. And even though Bloodraven didn't exist as a character for the Hedge Knight, it's pretty clear that like the prophecy and the puppet mastering and the manipulation is like part of that story, which removes Balon, And so like all of these little shit is happening. Events are being manipulated in order to put Egg on the throne. However, it's a little different from Dune in the sense that there's a lot of other little actions going on as well. It's there's also somebody bashing Balon Breakspear in the back of the head. Like there's armies getting moved in and stuff like that. So it's not that I don't agree. I do agree that like the prophecies are about moving certain people with special genes into power positions. Like I do think that's going on, but it's not the only thing going on. Like there's other things, there's other actions being taken besides that. But I do think the prophecy is being used to move pieces. But prophecy is being used to move pieces beyond the breeding. Like people are getting random prophecies all over the place that are causing them to do weird things that are not breeding related. So yes, like prophecy is being used for genetic breeding purposes, but other things are being done for genetic breeding purposes, and prophecy is being used for other stuff besides. So it's sorry to pull a yes and no at the same time there, but it's like, yeah, no, I do think that prophecy is being used to manipulate the breeding structure of Targaryens to bring about the hatching of dragons again, or at least an attempt. Everything leading to Summerhall, because Summerhall is a failure, but I do think that Summerhall was a long Bloodraven plan that fucking failed. And then time traveling Bran is using prophecy here and there to do shit. I mean, you can take like Bran, like hearing the prophecies about the sea coming over the wall at Winterfell. Like clearly that's doing something. Or Jojen showing up after seeing a prophecy of the wolf, with being chained and a raven like tapping at the chain. Like that's doing something. It's moving action, but it doesn't have anything to do with breeding at this point. So
you're making me realize there's too much prophecy in this story. Oh my god, there's
prophecy.
too many
all over the fucking place.
Like when he had the prophecy from like the mentally challenged like the girl in Dorne and like the
House Toland girl. Yeah.
Toland, and you're just like, are we really? Do we need
But it's I think that's there for the same fucking reason as are there any dragons around? Like in that moment when he's writing that chapter, he's like, will this excite the audience? And the answer is yeah. They'll be like, oh, she mentioned dragons. Oh. And then that's all he's thinking about is like, in this moment, am I going to excite the audience? Versus like, wait, why does this random girl from House Toland have prophetic powers? And why, if time traveling Bran is controlling everything, why Is he sending it to this random girl who's gonna like speak it in front of Ariane? Like, is it important that Ariane has this? Like, is that an important part of the plot? Like, well, there,
Ghost of High Heart, Ghost of High Heart, like, why is she telling this to Arya? Like, like, why does Arya need to know about the Euron assassination thing? Like,
yeah, Ghost of High Heart. I do not like the Ghost of High Heart. I just think it's one, like her prophecies are so obvious, but two, like, why are like these random Brotherhood without banners and Arya who have no power and no care to do anything with them? Like, what are they like? They're just there for the audience, right? So the audience can be like, "Oh, I know that." Okay.
And we get it twice. We get 2 chapters,
He goes
two
back
separate
again.
chapters.
Clearly not filling time. Clearly not filling time. Clearly not filling pages. Hey guys, just got back from Greece and Turkey. Wish I had Preston and Trey to enjoy it with me. Sorry, Kaiman. We'll be back to Turkey for sure.
Oh my God.
Turkey and Greece are they're wonderful, wonderful places. I'm more of a Turkey lover. I like Greece, but I'm more of a Turkey lover than a Greece lover. But it may just because the Turkish are a little warmer than the Greeks. And I think every Greek would agree with that. Greeks would be like, we don't need to give you bullshit. Like, we don't. But I'm like, no, I think Turks, like, they genuinely are happy to see you. Like, they genuinely are just like, hello. It is good to see, it's a warmer place, But I do love.
When I was staying in Greece, they were very warm. They made me feel like a very welcome guest in the northern part of Greece. I was in a very rural part, so maybe that's it too. And city might not.
But I'm saying, like, even in Istanbul, like, Turks can be pretty friendly. While no one would say anyone from Athens is friendly. I love Athens too. I think it's a great place. But the idea is that Greeks are more real. Like, why am I lying to you? Why am I pretending to be friendly? Oh, predict episode 6, sexual assault? Oh, sexual assault.
Yeah, that meant, but like that's such a weird question to ask. Why focus on that? I don't know. I thought it was a troll question.
Episode 6. I'm trying to think because they're not doing. They're clearly not doing brothel queens, right? And then you're saying like maybe Hugh the Hammer's wife is gonna have something happen to her. Is perhaps the idea? We had some attempted assault this episode, but I'm trying to think with Alice Rivers. But I'm trying to think because they've dropped brothel queens. I don't think anything's happening there. But maybe they're going to get back to Hugh the Hammer's wife because he's got to have some sort of moment, some moment of changing, some moment of anger. I don't know. That's gonna, but they should just hold her hostage. They don't need anything else. Oh, Emily Wilson, the translator for Nolan's adaptation, released a statement on the flaws. That's funny because, like,
okay,
her translation people think is very good. But some people are like, oh, because she's a woman, and some people are like, and because Nolan's movie is woke, that somehow there's a correlation there. And it's just like she happened to be a really good translator, and she happened to be a woman. Like that's kind of it.
How is the movie? Oh, it's this so grifty bullshit. How is the movie woke? It's about a white man who upholds traditional values and religion, going back home to a faithful wife who never cheated on him, and
for
a pretty
fucking
cool
way
son.
too long.
Like,
For 20 fucking years.
Yeah.
Okay. She should have been fucking
I mean,
all over the
look,
place. She should have left the
that's
guy like after year
but
one.
Carmine,
that speaks to
Carmine,
like
it's
what the
woke
conservatives
because there's
love. They
black
love that
people in
woman
it.
who's like loyal and who's never gonna like cheat on you or have multiple partners. Like that's what they love, right? So how is it really
Yes.
woke?
Because there's a black
I
person
don't.
in it.
Carmine, you don't understand how these people think. Yeah, because there's a trans man in it. That's why.
yeah.
Like,
That's right. By the way, I'm gonna blow both of your minds. For some reason, all of these entertainment websites felt that it needed to be said and reported on that Ben Shapiro thought this movie was amazing. Apparently, Ben Shapiro loves it. So, I mean, and he's one of the
Did
right
see
wing
this.
gods, right? So,
Well, they say when you actually see the movie, it's a pretty conservative message, you know.
mhm.
I was not prepared for Athenian boy wife Trey, I'll be honest. Delighted, yes, but wholly unprepared. Confused?
no. Not a fan of that one.
Trey, you liked my I'll see if Preston can actually show this. Because I sent Trey what the monsters in the 97 version of the Odyssey look like. They look way better, right, Trey?
Yeah, these look good. These look really cool. Yeah,
send this to
like
you.
I did like how they did the Cyclops in Nolan's Odyssey. I like how they did the Lystragonians, like the giants. But yeah, Scylla, not a huge fan of it, like how they handled Scylla and Charybdis, or the sirens. You know, the sirens aren't visually super interesting. Yeah, but this looks really cool. What you're showing me here, Carmine, looks pretty cool. I like that. I like this.
This is in
This
the
Charybdis is
97
really cool.
version. And I don't think I remember the giants in the 97 version, but
They might have
I
cut
see.
them out. Like the thing is they're a little too similar to the Cyclopses, so I think most adaptations kind of cut them out. Like there's a little bit of redundancy, like in the Odyssey. Yeah.
This picture of the Langoliers you sent me.
Langoliers.
that's Scylla, and that's the Whirlpool monster in the 97 miniseries version. I'll send it. I downloaded it a while back. I'll send it to both of you guys if you'd like. We can talk about it. But in Preston, in the movie, Scylla just kind of looks weird. I wasn't a fan.
I don't like. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the Scylla depiction. It's weird rock spider thing. I don't even know how to describe it. It's there very briefly. It's just like, and then you get no closure. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Trey,
Cyclops
YouTube
looks pretty
essayist Super Bunny Hop just released a video ranking his top 5 adaptations of the Odyssey. I think you specifically would love it.
Okay. Super Bunny Hop. I'll look up this Super Bunny Hop here. Super Bunny Hop.
There are only 5 adaptation of the Odyssey. There's the Return with I think, was it Ben Mendelsohn? No, Return. It came out a couple of years ago. There was a Return of Ralph Fiennes.
Yep. I saw that
there's one from the 60s
DVD,
and
DVD
this
one is curious.
Yeah, there isn't that many adaptations of the Odyssey.
It's hard to adapt. I get it. I get why. It's probably it's somewhat difficult to adapt source material. And it's a little expensive to do some of this stuff, you know. You can watch the Asylum version that uses like AI images, you know. You get the
I want an Odyssey adaptation where it's just an old lady sitting by a fire telling me the story orally. The way it was originally told. You ever seen there's an Uncle Vanya movie where it's just the stage version of it. It's very good, but it's just like it's just them on stage doing it. It's called Uncle Vanya on Uncle Vanya on 42nd Street.
I think Family Guy references that. Family Guy, there's like a cutaway gag where Peter's watching this and he's like, "What the hell is this?" Like, he just Hi, Keith.
Yeah. I mean, it's got Inconceivable Guy. It's got a guy from Punky Brewster. But it's just them on stage. And that's it. It's the whole movie. Georgia's New York Giants getting John Harbaugh is divine vengeance karma. He's the new head coach. This is like the one thing I've never gotten into is understanding the New York Giants so that I can understand George better. John Harbaugh. It says he's an American professional coach. He was the head coach for the New York Giants. And then is he going? He's going back to the coach. He was. This is a taunt to me because he was coaching the Ravens and now he's going to the Giants. I gotcha. The idea that they've poached my football team's head coach to go to Georgia's. That's the divine vengeance. Getting back at me. Okay. I don't mind if the watch episodes are late. I'd rather you take your time. I watched Westworld Watch without ever having watched Westworld. Ever considered the watches for nerds?
This is me.
You've never watched Westworld?
I did the same thing. Nope, not a single episode, but I know those reviews. Ford planned it all, you know.
Westworld season 1 is definitely worth a watch. Definitely worth a watch to watch Westworld season 1. But
okay,
it goes off the rails and then just keeps going off the rails.
When you were your review made me real like you're rewatching. It's just like this is crazy. This sounds like gibberish. And the same way that you were talking about like Raised by Wolves, where it was just kind of mystery box. I'm like kind of anti mystery box, where like it's just people just throwing shit out there for there to be a mystery and not really having a good coherent resolution.
I don't think you can ever write mystery box like in a building the plane as you're flying kind of situation. Like I think the only way you can really do a proper mystery box is like, I've got the idea from the beginning, this is going to be the reveal. And then you've got to have like a whole workshop of people like finding holes like, and then like being like, okay, now the story is sound. Let's run with it. And that's just not how TV shows go. Cause TV shows are airplanes being built as they're going. With teams of people, with one person focusing on this and one person focusing on that, and it's impossible. It's so like has a good mystery box ever been done? You know, in a series, it's really maybe somebody's got to have a.
Let me see, in a series, because you're right. Like even something with Breaking Bad, where it's tight. You know, you still have your Marie kleptomaniac plot, you know, you're like, oh my god, they didn't know what they were doing here,
right?
And
I don't think they knew what they were doing with the airline situation. Like they hyped up the airline crash for so long, where there's like put a little clue at the beginning of every episode to this final like airplane crash thing. It was, I don't know. They're hyping up something.
And then it really isn't that big.
Yeah.
Mystery box show. I'm looking at examples. X-Files. Yeah, X-Files is a good example of mystery boxing where they just did not know how to resolve Mulder's sister or that kind of stuff, and it just gets so jumbled.
Who is the cigarette smoking man?
I don't care. You're right. Yeah. Severance. Oh, Severance is a bad mystery box, and the second season of Severance.
When is
third?
By the way, when is
oh my
season
gosh.
3 of Severance coming out? Is it coming out?
People, this is so funny. People already citing a pluribus on here, even though pluribus is not even that far.
I mean, I admit that
Oh.
To be real
like
here, Pluribus was cool for like the first 4 episodes. After that, it's just like we're dragging our feet. There's a whole episode of her literally just doing nothing. Come on, like
finding
Pluribus
that you're eating
deserves.
people, and we all knew that you were eating people. And everybody's like, "Who cares?" Yeah. Okay, so they're starting to film Severance season 3 next week, which means it will.
Oh, wow.
Which means
We
it'll
won't get
be
it
a
until
while.
2027. Yeah, yeah.
That's amazing.
Oh,
that-
man.
Preston, people are saying here Twin Peaks is a good mystery box show. I know you've seen it and like it.
Yeah, I mean,
Super 8, Force Awakens. I'm looking at this Wikipedia page. Sorry.
I'll tell you that like at the time, people hated this the Twin Peaks mystery boxing. They thought that they were revealing far too few mysteries like quick enough, and like viewership was really plummeting. And so then they revealed everything, and then viewership plummeted even further. Like, and you know, but I think rewatch. I think Brandon and Sweet Robin used to poke fun more like when they were in World. Remember the Pedro bit? As the show has gotten weaker, Brandon and Sweet Robin feel like they're making more fun of the show itself. Just an observation. You know, the yeah, I mean, the watch has changed quite a bit over time. Like obviously I think it's become more nitpicky. Like it's become like that's the point is the cinema sin.
What?
I think
Oh.
it's become I think like I think that first season like Chad comes in and like starts cheering the scenes he likes, you know, a lot. And then eventually there's fewer and fewer scenes that he likes as time goes on, and it becomes the show just becomes like Game of Thrones becomes more and more ridiculous. So he has more there's just more complaining, and then it just becomes complaining, right? And so there was a lot more chance for jokes and stuff like that. Chad's adventures became more elaborate as time went on. I mean, this season that doesn't count because I just haven't had the time, and so Chad hasn't done anything. But I don't know. They coming up with good humor and everything. That's the thing is, especially this season, I would say that like the watch is not as funny as it should be, but that's because like I usually have time to go back and then throw in more jokes that are punchy, and there's just not as many jokes. So, you know, it's they're just they rip apart the show, but it's not as not as goofy. But it also depends on the episode. Last 2 episodes there hasn't been much to that's so off the wall ridiculous that you can laugh at it, but because it's like so bonkers stupid, like Littlefinger crossing the map, or these zooming ravens, or Brienne like going through Deepwood Mott or Mott.
Oh,
Yeah.
Did you realize that they have pigeons, passenger pigeons now in Westeros? They didn't use crows this time.
Passenger pigeons. When? Where?
Yeah. Like Ormond's like agent in King's Landing uses a pigeon instead of a crow, which was very jarring to me. I was like, huh.
Wow. So that's it.
Yeah.
Everybody else is using ravens, and he uses a pigeon.
He's using pigeons.
That changes everything. Changes everything that he can use a pigeon.
That changes everything. I love you, man.
Oh, they also, and apparently in Westeros they don't call them horse flies; they call them deer flies, which was weird to me. Just like, why do we need to call them something different? They're like, yeah, we're getting attacked by deer flies here. And you're like, deer flies? Do you mean horse fly? Like, just to make it weird, just to make it different. Like, deer flies.
There's so many weird things.
Okay, there are deer flies. Never mind.
I'm getting used to my ear hearing the things that the words that they use. Like they used secrete again, which was just like they used it again. I was like,
secrete a lot.
Yeah, they secrete a lot in the story, but then they what was it? They used, what was it, Terry or something?
Yeah, okay. People are correcting me already. Deer flies are a thing. I've never heard deer flies, but deer flies are a thing. I'm more familiar with horse flies. Caught me off guard. George, I've just never heard in A Song of Ice and Fire like George ever bring up deer flies, you know? Never heard. I think horse flies are a thing. And
I mean, it's very clear that they have their own old-timey language and things that they use, but they're not really copying George's language, which is interesting. Right. So like they use the word tarry a lot, which means to linger. And that's a word that George never uses in A Song of Ice and Fire. I don't think. I'm going to double check myself there. But like to tarry, like we shouldn't tarry here long.
Yes, they use blood flies. George uses blood flies. He never uses horse fly or
the
deer
blood flies are from
blood flies.
Yeah, from the when that's the big deal when Khal Drogo becomes comatose.
Yeah,
blood flies.
You're right that they're not using the Search of Ice and Fire. They're not like
no.
They have their own lingo.
Secreted. Like I say, and they've used the word Terry. Like I say, the word Terry. A whole bunch of other ones where I'm just like, oh, that's weird. Like or you know, they drew a rondel on his chest or something and things like that. Just different things like where you're just like, huh. I think someone mentioned that there was maybe a rondel in heraldry that they were using whether they were using roundel or rondel. A rondel literally means a circle, but it's also like the little shields you use to protect the joints of armor. And so George uses them as the shields to protect the joints of armor. And so she says to paint a rondel on the chest. She either meant roundel, like a heraldry circle, or rondel, which also means circle. In the end, it doesn't matter which one she said, but George never used them, I don't think. Now I've got to check about roundel. Roundel? No, he uses roundel with something different. Round as a food thing. Roundels of elk. I think that's a cut of meat that's in a circle or something. But not a heraldry roundel. But it's wholly different, the old timey speak, but strangely not George old timey speak. Yeah.
Secrete. I did notice them using secrete again. I'm like, let's stop using secrete. We don't
secreting all over the place. Secreting gold. I think this time they said secreting Aegon. Ugh.
Yeah.
Okay. All these dead dragons lying around, and the small folk are letting them rot. You'd think the dragon parts would be highly sought after. Oh, absolutely. Dragon bone for well, first of all, you'd think it'd be like, first of all, they should be eating the dragon meat. They're all starving. Okay. So like, why haven't they cut up Sunfire and eaten him? Because if they're all starving, these are people that are literally like picking maggots off of corpses. That, by the way, like, did you guys know that it was maggots? Like the first time you saw it, like the scene, because it was a really fast scene. This is episode 4. when
I thought
passed.
they were taking rings or something like that, or I don't know.
Right, but it'd been a month, so they would have been already like. So I went back frame by frame, and it's like they're like going through the mud too, and I was like, and they're like looking for things in the mud, and I realized I was like, oh, there's maggots everywhere. I think they're searching for maggots.
Okay.
Because you know maggots are edible, while spoiled meat is not. So like. You can use maggots. You can also sell maggots. I suppose they're useful for medicinal purposes. But
you're right that it is super weird how intact Sunfire is, and how intact the what's Rhaenys' dragon, the other one where it's the headless, like
dragon tail.
That should be picked over. The scales should be trophies, and you're right that in the story we know that dragon bones are valuable as for weaponry and stuff, right? And decoration. All this should, it's a little weird.
No, you're absolutely right. Like they should have carved up Sunfire a long time ago. Who wouldn't want a fucking dragon skull? Sell that shit.
Sell that shit to Rhaenyra. Rhaenyra would probably mount it. Rhaenyra would want that, right?
True. You're absolutely right. Because in the source material, the dragon was famously alive, and people were like trying to kill it, and it was killing people, and people were trying to get near it. Oh, he says, no, I'm a Ravens fan also. Harbaugh can't finish anymore. Glad to be rid of him. We win in the exchange. George will suffer.
Trey, I need to send you Emily Wilson's Odyssey review.
Yeah, what did she say? I tried looking up what she had said because I'm curious what her criticism. I have plenty of criticisms
It is such a fucking
it's a nitpicky.
It is a great twist. Well, yeah, it is nitpicky, but it's also like such a great twist on the culture war bullshit because he's adapting her shit, and now here she is going, right. Well, you kind of. And I'm trying to get
my thing. My hot take of the movie is that very little of it feels ancient, and very little of it feels like the Odyssey. Like very little of it, like of their version of Odysseus, feels like Odysseus. They cut so much that makes Odysseus him and like the myth, like how we understand him as like a character. And so I'm just like, this is a different character. This is kind of a different story, a different take on the story at the very least.
I missed a
does George care about football still? Is George tweeting about football these days? Is he loves his football, huh?
Listen, in regards to George, I don't know if this is news to both of you, but apparently he's not attending LACon. I don't know if he ever did, but I guess there was some idea that he might attend this convention, but he's not going to now. I have no idea what's going on. He's been very quiet. If George doesn't attend if he doesn't attend the play, the play's premiere.
This is the most quiet he's ever been. Yeah.
Well, if he doesn't attend
when's the play premiere? When is that going to be?
August 8th.
Like next week.
Next week? No, oh my gosh, we're going to get all the amazing details from the play, the Joffrey Lonmouth and everything.
I know several people who will be going to the play, and I'll be hitting them up either in a video or we can probably get them on a podcast maybe if they're comfortable with that. But people are going to go, they're going to take notes, and they're going to report back, and I'll probably have a video on it.
They're going to have nothing. They're going to have nothing interesting to say.
Have we considered doing watches for like nerd movies? Everything is about like how much time I have, and the amount of time I have is like very small.
Preston, please show this person the fucking meme. Can you just whip your phone out again and show her the meme of like Damon the hero, please? Because these people don't seem to understand the meme.
I mean,
Ben, if you're listening right now, because Ben is like the main mod on Preston's subreddit, please pin that meme, please. It's very important.
All right. This is
Look at this.
wife
Look
and
at this
kids.
photograph.
Winds of Winter fanfic. Damon the hero. Like, look, I you gotta understand. Like, there's no time that has been more busy than right now. I had to move back to America, which involves like a lot of shit. Like getting back to my house and being like, oh my god, the people that were living here haven't done any gardening or like yard work in like 2 years. Like re-registering my car. Like there's these little shit like life is, and coming back to work and like being unable to telework is just a pain in the butt. Like that's 2 hours I lose every fucking day now. That's 10 more hours a week I've lost because Trump wanted to punish federal employees. Like there's just shit like that where you're just like, like there's these little things like life is really complicated. And you're like, these little things I'm just like, I need to buy mulch. And it's like, when am I going to have the fucking time to go to Home Depot to buy some fucking mulch? And you're just like, fuck. Cause like, it's like, okay, well, I got to drop off the kids at their camps. And then I got to go to work and I got to come home, pick them up from their camps. And then by then it's like, well, we got to get them dinner and put them to bed. But by the time that, well, now Home Depot's closed. So, I've got to do that. I can only go to fucking Home Depot on the weekend, but I've got to go to the fucking I've got to go to the MVA, DMV. We call it MVA in Maryland. I got to go to the MVA to fucking, get car registration and shit like that. And like, life is really fucking hard to put all the stuff together. And so when it's like, oh God, like putting together like just these little things like, and the House of the Dragon coming out at the same time is just really, it's really difficult. It's really difficult.
I normally because I'll get the screeners and then I'll me and Preston will convene and we'll watch it together. And we didn't have a chance to do that this week. Like we couldn't even watch episode 5 together because you were just so fucking busy.
Yeah. And also like the World Cup happening at the same time. It's like, fuck, I got the World Cup too. God damn it. By the way, I want to mention every time people say Emily Wilson, like for some reason I just hear Emily Willis and I want to hear an Emily Willis. Like I want an Emily Willis Odyssey instead. I think that would be an interesting Odyssey is the Emily Willis. But I don't even know what mulch is. I know. It's hard. It's really hard. Like life. So the thing is like when people make these comments like oh man, population is crashing in America, right? It's like, why aren't people having kids? And the first thing is they're like, well, it's women's fault. You're like, no, like as a person who has children, and keep in mind, like I'm choosing to have a third. It's so hard. Like I'm talking like the money and the time suck and everything. And it's like, and everybody just makes it harder. Like they just want to make it fucking harder. There's no reason, like putting it all together. I'm like, there's no reason we should be working as a society, we should be working 40 hours. That's way too much. And most people I know, they work like 50, 60 hours. No reason anyone should be fucking doing that. Nobody should be doing that. As a society, we failed because 40 hours plus your commutes, you have no fucking time for anything. Now, as a single person, that seems quite reasonable. That's an okay lift. I know what that was like. Yeah, 40 hours, sure. I can go to the gym after work. I can then watch a movie, go to bed. Once you have a family, it's like, oh my God, like there's way too life is too complicated. Life is far too complicated. like the people that the number of people like that I run into, they're like, you're having 3 kids? Like, oh my God, that's so much fucking work. And that's just 3. Like I'm only making up for one half of Carmine who never wants to have kids. Like this is why population is plummeting. And
oh, what the fuck? Preston loves the idea of family and kids so much that he's got to fucking put my nose in it. Like he's got to bring this up. Well, it's really unbelievable that the Tyrells wanted to kill Joffrey. That is unbelievable. That and Carbide not having kids. But that up there, it's like top 3 Ice and Fire things. Tyrells, Carbide's kids, or lack thereof, and Joffrey and the Dagger. That's unbelievable stuff. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Look, it's what's funny is that like some people are like, "Oh, this is great. Oh, I'd never wanted kids." Let me tell you, man. I having kids, you completely understand like why no one would want to have kids. Like I get it, but you also understand like why some people like love kids and have like 7. Like I get it, like you get it, like in both ways. But man, like the fact that like no one cares, like the fact there should have been riots in the streets when they like when they ended telework, like for the federal government. Like what a fucking brutal fucking move. Just why?
I don't want to be an asshole to you. I don't, and I won't. But if I told you the real reason why I don't want to have them, you would probably feel like the biggest piece of shit. And I don't want to make you feel like that, but let's just say there's a very good reason, and we'll leave it at that. Like how there's a very good reason I was not able to travel all over the place.
Oh, well, I understand.
No, hey, you're making up for me. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate you picking up the
slack.
I
certainly, prior to this administration, though, that wouldn't have really applied to you, but like, but I understand like in this administration why.
It's nothing to do with the administration. And to the person who asked, do they talk about House of the Dragon in the stream? No. It's Odyssey and me not having kids
and World
and
Cup,
why the Tyrell
World
plot
Cup,
is somehow
Odyssey.
And World Cup, absolutely World Cup.
By the way, I read an interesting article.
You're busy.
Yeah. So in truth, like the reason population is I mean, it's not currently declining because people are still living older and older, but like why things are reversing in America and most of the developed world. I mean, it's complicated. There's a lot of reasons. Okay. A lot of reasons. Like obviously like people are very busy and things are very expensive and we're all like worked to the limit. And obviously part of it is that people do education longer and they want to have kids after their education is done. And so you're cutting out, having kids in your 20s and stuff like that. And so you just have fewer years to have kids. But interestingly enough, I read an interesting article about that there's people that always want kids and there's people that always don't want to have kids. But there's a large portion of people that only want to have kids if they find the right person. And a large number of women like that have this kind of idea. I've actually heard it more from women than men. And so you could actually like blame that, like, because men are getting shittier, like that it's really men's fault because women are like, I'll have kids if I find the right person. And there's just no look. There's just not that many high quality partners that are like, you're just like, he watches Joe Rogan and vapes and like plays video games 7 hours a day. Oh well, I would have, but Hot D is all about karma and not having kids. I mean, Hot D does not make you want to have kids. I'll tell you that. You know, they tend to just get killed.
Or turn out evil.
I like what I'm a Spooky Kitty said. Who comes to a Preston Jacobs stream to talk about House of the Dragon? I mean, look. Hey, look.
That's a good question. It's a good.
I would not put a child through what it is to come into this world. Yeah, I mean, I understand the perspective. Some people think the world's shitty, and that there's too much pain. I get it. A lot of people are hard on themselves too, and they're like, "Well, I don't think I would be a good enough parent," you know. And I'm like, oh, man, the bar is really low on parents in this world. Like, you don't have to be that great to be better than average, you know. So, but you know, so, but yeah, I mean,
understand.
Yeah,
people like the guy in the Jamie Lannister 1797 in the stream chat. 2 episodes where almost nothing happens. This is season 2 all over again, bro. Stuff is happening. I don't understand that. What are you talking about? Like, what are you saying?
I would see. I would say that stuff happened in season 2. I would agree that like the last 2 episodes are set up, but stuff's happening just slowly, right? Like, I think at this point, because we had some setup with Alice, for example, like if Alice starts claiming she's pregnant, I'd be like, oh, right, you know, we've set some stuff up. She's fucking Aemond or whatever. Like, that would make sense. He was calling her mom, shit like that. You know, there's some important setup here. But, yeah. I don't know.
These fucking TikTok and YouTube shorts have really destroyed people's attention span. God damn. Homie would probably not be able to sit through the Odyssey. That's crazy.
No, for sure.
I saw a 4-year-old kid in public with an iPad, and I almost thought about saying something to the parents. You don't understand. Like the day they've been through, like how hard it is for a 4-year-old. And keep in mind, like what public does. This is the thing. Is this is what's also like fucking horrible. Okay. I think I've been on the rant before because like, first of all, 40 hours already sucks for someone that has kids because you're and a commute. 40 hours and a commute. Like, what are you doing? But then you're getting to the point where in the working world, these motherfuckers, like sometimes people are like, okay, maybe we have an 8:30 meeting, and you're like, what are you fucking doing? 8:30 meeting? Like, what are you fucking thinking? Like, people have to drop off their fucking kids at school and shit like that. Like, why would you be thinking 8:30 meeting? But they're in their mindset. They're just like, or the reverse, like a 5 o'clock, 4:30 meeting. Like you're like what? It's like having a meeting up some stairs when you know the people in the meeting are in wheelchairs, and you're just like, well, let's have this meeting in the conference room at the top of these stairs. Like, what are you fucking doing? Like, there's a complete lack of even thinking about children in the working world, and like just little shit like you know, where you work, ask yourself, is there a lactation room? Is there a fucking lactation room? Is there, and because you're required to have one, but like, and do people use it for lactation? Because some people, like women, are like, oh, I got to get a lactation room. You got to remember, when you've got to lactate and like you've got to pump. I don't mean you have to do it immediately, like peeing, but like, you know, you want to get in there within like an hour. Okay. But still, like sometimes it's like the lactation room is booked, and then you go in there and there's some woman doing yoga, and people are just like, what are you fucking doing? This is the lactation room. You know, like, does anyone think about this? No. Like, or so like when you go out with a kid in public and people give you that fucking look at a restaurant or something, like, oh God, your fucking kid. Like, oh, like that shame. Like, kids are part of society. Okay, kids exist in society. They're kind of needed for society to exist, you know, and to continue on. They'll be paying your tax. They'll be supporting you in your old age through their taxes. And the fact that like people can be so hostile, like at a restaurant or in public, to like screaming kids. So the reason you saw a 4-year-old with an iPad is because they were in public, and because the public shames parents into keeping their kids fucking quiet and behaved at all times when it's a 4-year-old. 4-year-olds don't fucking behave. By definition, they don't fucking behave. But society's like, oh, you brought your 4-year-old out in fucking public? They better be fucking quiet and not scream. And so in order to fucking like comply with the goddamn society, you hand them a fucking iPad to quiet them up. That's why the iPad is there. It's not the parents' fault. It's society's fault. Now, having spent time in the Middle East, they just fucking let their kids scream everywhere. Fuck. You know, so.
Trey, I'm curious, and feel free to correct me if I'm overstepping here by asking you this, but do you plan on getting married or having kids, or what's your?
I have no idea. I haven't thought that far.
If he finds the right person,
thought that far. I've
right?
accepted. If I like, I've kind of accepted that there's a real possibility that I just might not, just because the people I'm into are, you know, we're not like, I'm like biological child, probably not, but you know, who knows?
Yeah.
You know, maybe. I've hung out with little cousins. They're kind of fun. They're kind of fun to hang out with.
You and I are around the same age. We're both in our 20s. May I give you some advice from a fellow crazy? What I hate to break it to you, but what people call love is just a chemical reaction that compels animals to breed. It hits hard, then it slowly fades.
What are you, Rick and Morty?
Stranded in a failing marriage. I did it. Your parents are gonna do it. Preston might do it. Break the cycle, Trey. Focus on uploading those pictures of you in that latex suit on Twitter. That too. Focus on science.
I think that's so cynical. Oh my gosh.
Look, I like my freedom, man. I like my freedom. So,
I mean, kids are great. I mean, as much as kids are hard, kids are great. It's like anything else in life. If someone said, like, I mean, I'm going to take something very small and be like, okay, like, if you're like, oh, what if you had to live your whole life having never tasted bacon? You know, you'd be like, well, my life would not be as rich, right? You know, and that's just bacon. And I'm talking like, it's, you know, you're like, oh, I couldn't even imagine a world where I didn't have bacon. And that's just fucking bacon, you know, like it's an experience that is so intense and so overwhelming that, you know, like anything else big like that. Imagine going through life and having never fallen in love. Okay. Take something as significant as that. You'd be like, oh, you went through your entire life and you never fell in love. That's really but then you're like, oh, but falling in love is hard. Well, yeah, it's hard, but you know, and falling in love, it involves heartbreak, a lot of fucking brutal heartbreak. The most painful emotion you'll ever have in your life is heartbreak. And you're like, but you know, would you ever say like, oh, I don't ever want to fall in love, or I don't ever want to like deal with love? Like, no, you know, like everyone would be like, no, I'd still want that experience. Even with all of the negatives, I still wanted to try to go through this process of like love. Children are the same. It's the same. Yeah, it's really fucking hard. There's downsides to it, but at the same time, there's really big upsides to it. And like, I completely understand people that don't want to have kids, but at the same time, like, to live a life and not have kids would be like living a life having never experienced love, you know? So it's like that to me. That's my recommendation for children.
crazy. It's crazy. You're crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, you shouldn't. Eat
My parents have told me this a similar thing.
Yeah,
that it's indescribable.
Really? Jesus.
Yeah,
that's what I've heard. That's what I heard.
It's like anything else. It's but the downside is you're broke. Yeah, lots of downsides. Lots of downsides to kids. Don't get me wrong. Lots of downsides to just painful breakups, painful relationships that I've had in the past. Painful.
I love how this guy here, VJ Dizzle, pretty much breaks down Preston's like 30-minute rant on this into one sentence, which is, kids are fine. Modern life just doesn't accommodate them. Yeah.
He's right.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. The world is really fucking shitty, like with regards to all that. Anyway, I'll answer this last super chat and then I got to go to bed. Default when not at work was default was when not at work was free time. Once you have kids, default is family time, and free time is something you try to find. That's the thing to know. Absolutely, I would even. Some people actually see it as work time is your free time. That going to work is your vacation. Like that's the time you get to relax, walk around the office, stop by people's cubes, chat, be an individual. You get to go to lunch. Like some people see work time as that's the vacation, and then work begins when you leave. Then it's family time, and it's time for work. And it's true, especially when the kids are young. Like 3-day weekend comes up and you're like, oh, fuck, 3-day weekend. Like you used to be like, 3-day weekend. All right. Oh my God, we've got a 3-day weekend, guys. And now it's like, it's a 3-day weekend. Like, what are we gonna do with the kids?
God damn, Thomas. That's fucking crazy to say, buddy. Holy shit. You see what that guy Thomas just said in the stream chat? Holy fuck.
he's just being funny. I wish I loved my kid as much as Preston loves him. Of course, he's just making jokes, obviously.
Oh, he's just making a joke.
It is. Problem is capitalism, obviously. Yeah. Okay. Thank you guys for being with me, and Trey and I will try to do a headcanon. Maybe this week. I think I might have some free time for headcanon. Yeah. And then
maybe this week.
Yeah, sounds good. And then I gotta. I haven't even done going over fanfic Daenerys yet. I've got to do going over fanfic Daenerys, and I've got to do Daenerys 10, and I've got to do a headcanon, and I've got to do this
real quick before you sign off. Let me just clear this the fuck up, because this is becoming a meme now. I am not bothering Preston to add more sex into his fanfic. I'm telling him he needs to add more Georgisms to the fanfic, which is like describing food ad nauseum on 37 pages on end, and occasionally the gross sex stuff. That is what George would do, but it's not what I want. That's it.
All right, Carmine, more sex. I got you. More sex.
God damn it.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.